Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Maple Syrup Mandos podcast. I'm Anthony.
I'm Jacob.
Paul.
Blaise.
We're going to get better at doing that. And today we have our Galactic Republic command card tier list. Finally, to the stuff that I actually know a lot more about. We're going to go through this. There's not as many cards, so we might have a bit more discussion. But before we talk about the cards themselves, we can go over the rubric of our scoring system on each cards.
Yes. So as a reminder, our tier list is we got F tier, which is booty butt cheeks, worse than the equivalent generic card. So basically, you should never take it, or basically you're just playing a bad list if you're playing the card. D tier is with setup or list building. It can have more impact than the generic cards like ambush, but are generally either too situational or too low impact to see much play. You have C tier, generally meaning it's worth taking over the generic cards, but either has a low impact on the game, or it has a high impact on the game, but it's like very specific. Like it's a niche card, situationally strong, like often like the 6th card in your command hand. And then you have the B tier, solid card worth taking. You expect to play it virtually every game with your list. A tier, the card has a huge impact on the game and is a major reason you're taking the unit. And then S tier, the card has an outsized impact on the game. It determines how you list build, and is essentially just a game-changing card that is essential to the unit's kit in a way that if the card didn't exist, you might not even be taking the unit. So that's a reminder for the rubric. And I guess also while I'm talking, we had already pre-ranked 4 cards that the cards that existed, that are units that exist in Rebels as well. We ranked the Bad Batch 3-pip as an A tier, and then the 3 R2-D2 cards as the F tier. Basically, the units are, there's slight differences in Bad Batch, obviously in Republic versus Rebels, but as far as like the actual card and what it doesn't really change all that much. And just so we can avoid discussion and cut down on time by a little bit. So that's that.
And I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last tier list, where I get to do good characters command cards, what I think good character command cards are, and the bad one. And
why don't we start with the most played command card? Anybody have a guess as to what it is?
Most played
Republic
command card besides the Bad Batch 3-pip?
Yeah, we'll exclude the Bad Batch 3-pip because it's inflated by being in 2 factions.
Yeah, because I think that is the one that is most played.
And that means we also have to exclude Blastoff.
That's fine.
I know that one's in contention. My guess would be my guess would be Anakin's 1-pip.
Any other guesses?
It's probably Luminous Beings. It's probably it's either Luminous Beings or Anakin's 1-pip. Yoda's played a lot.
Yeah, I think Luminous Beings is, or maybe one of Padme's cards. She gets brought in a ton of lists, right?
She does not get played though. I don't think
she probably is one of the most played units, but the answer is this is where the fun begins. Anakin's 1-pip is the most played card. Anakin's cards are the 3 of the top 6 cards.
We can start there though.
And is Bad Batch's 3-pip is number 1?
Yes.
For the record, just because of the inflated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would guess that Bad Batch and Republic comes close to Anakin in terms of the card play.
I would guess that as well.
So here's Anakin's 1-pip. This is where the fun begins. Gives an order to Anakin. It says 1-pip. He gets a free jump 2 move this round. It also gets 2 attack actions. And then you can also divulge it during the resolve setup step, where he gets prepared positions this game, so you can get onto the board within your deployment zone and get a dodge.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is an S tier card. I think it's the best 2-attack card in the game. You could maybe argue for Vader's 1-pip unimplacable, but I think this one, between the free jump 2 action, is huge. The fact that the attacks don't have to be sequential. And when you're considering taking burst of speed on Anakin, like the 3 speed 1 moves,
Speed 3.
or 3 speed 3, 3 speed 3 moves, just like slashing away at things. I think it's an S tier card. I personally consider it like the best double attack card in the game, but certainly willing to
I agree.
have discussion.
I think, and when you look at the context of Anakin's attacks, it's going to be 5 or sometimes even 6 Pierce 3. It's basically like you pick like 2 units almost and just kill them, and can move up to like 3 range bands almost between them. Yeah, them not having to be sequential is huge. You can even use this on his saber throws. He has the charge keyword, so he can just charge after each of his moves. So he can like charge, kill something, charge another thing, kill another thing, and then even move like a third time. Like there's so many combinations you can do with this card. And
It's
obviously he could also hit the same target twice if you really need something dead in like a duel or something like that.
You
Super
could-
good
He's like
card.
the quintessential like Anakin card. If you're bringing Anakin, this is really the only like if you have to play a card, this is the card you play to get his money's worth.
You could easily double tap. Like, it is theoretically possible to double tap an ATST with this card. I've come close to doing that before.
Yeah.
I think just because it also, the divulge text, I think is like kind of like you'll use it. I think it's really meaningful. Like maybe 5 to 10% of the time you'll like use the divulge to get in prepared positions. I think a lot of the time it is a trap. Just having your opponent know where Anakin is going to be on the board, and then potentially leaving him open to getting attacked on round 1. But it has some minor value as well. But at the end of the day, it's just such a strong double attack card. And S tier.
For sure.
Thank
that
you,
prepared
Blaise.
positions is pretty much a non-factor, right? Like,
Yeah, most of the time.
I think it's super rare, like a situation where you would want to deploy Anakin like first, or in the prepared position step.
Yeah, I think if it's like one of those objectives, like a bunker assault, where you just want to deploy in the middle anyway, and you have like a really excellent line of sight blocker, I think that's worth it. But for the most part, on these split objectives, it's really not worth it. You're often hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. But yeah, occasional value, but for the most part, it's juicy double attack card, the gold standard.
All right, here's his 2-pip. You underestimate my power. And I usually add my opponent's name in there when I'm playing them to make it a little bit more epic. Anakin's 2-pip. Anakin gets an order in another unit. Each time, Anakin can attack a face-down ordered token, and he gets 6 additional white dice during that attack. It's pretty good. It's a good card.
I think this is a B tier card. I think you're taking it in every Anakin list, or almost every Anakin list. It's a little timing dependent. Obviously, you want to be attacking units that have face down orders. I think this is a card you will often play when Anakin is relatively safe, either in a melee with a unit that probably isn't going to kill him potentially, or just hiding behind a line of sight blocker. It also works on a saber throw, so having like a 9 dice, Pierce 3, Impact 3, Surging to Crit range attack is really solid. But obviously it also gives a order to another unit, which is always helpful. But yeah, I think it's a solid card. I think the timing dependence does make it a little bit weak sometimes, and obviously white dice can be pretty swingy. I don't know what you guys think.
It makes him play a little slower. If you're not already in melee in round 2, you could play this card round 2 and potentially get in to do the round 1. But I think it's one of the cards I typically either play either during round 2 or not at all, because it is a bit of a slower card attacking something that's face down, because he probably is just gonna like annihilate it. I do find it is nice for the saber throw against vehicles if you'd have really nothing else to do. I would say it's probably around B, maybe a high B-ish for now.
Yeah, I would put it in B tier. The effect is pretty strong. All those dice surge, so you're pretty much adding like an average, a little bit like about around 1, almost 2 hits to his pool with surge to crit. It's significant. Yeah, and I think ideally you're playing this card either if Anakin's in a duel and you know your opponent's probably going to swing at him at some point this round and you can try and stall them out. Or you play this card, like Anthony said, on turn 2, Anakin's somewhere near an objective or you know your opponent's going to want to come onto it. And then now if they come onto that point, Anakin can like jump over a wall, swing at them. This effect also works on saber throw, which is a pretty common upgrade for Anakin. So that would turn a saber throw into 3 red, 6 white. And Anakin has Tempted, which we didn't mention in his first card, but he can double swing, so he could trigger this both times. So it can be a pretty big threat and can definitely like change what your opponent does, but at the same time, the timing of it is means you can't like alpha strike something with it.
The Tempted keyword lets you Anakin either attack or move for free if a unit within line of sight within range 3 dies of him, and the unit that killed that unit is also within line of sight of Anakin.
But he can attack anything. He doesn't have to attack the killer.
Yeah.
Sort of a weird keyword in terms of this. But anyways, the fact that he could trigger this twice is pretty significant. But yeah, B is solid.
All right, I'll go on to his last card, General Skywalker. His 3-pip, Anakin Skywalker gets an order and 2 other units. Anakin gets Inspired 2, as well as each order given with this card gets a name token.
I mean, it's a decent 3-pip. It's obviously a straight upgrade over Assault. Inspire 2 could sometimes be helpful. The aim tokens on, like, if you're playing this on round 1, can be helpful to, like, if you're playing Commandos, if you're playing a super squad that you're trying to get out on the field with Scout, if you're playing, like, an Anakin Rex list. Yeah, I mean, it's a solid card. I don't think it's super impactful. Anakin, I think if you're running Anakin with, like, other characters, whether it's an Anakin Obi-Wan list or an Anakin Rex list, an Anakin Bad Batch list, I think this is often a card you will not take and instead take some of the other characters' cards. I think this is like a C tier card. I think it's certainly useful upgrade, maybe low B.
I think it's a B tier card, personally. It does give out aims for units that do need aims on the board. Without exemplar sharing anymore, it does without having your arcs go before you. I think it is a nice card. I found it to be very useful when I'm not playing with Bad Batch or any other character that has a big 3-pip. So I don't know. I could argue B.
I think that last sentence is pretty telling. If you have any other character with, or I think most 3-pips in Republic would get played over this card. Am I out of pocket saying that?
No, I don't think so. I
think 2 aim. It's basically 2 aims and Inspired 2, right?
Does give an aim to Anakin, but yeah, he doesn't usually need it.
Yeah, if it's a round 1 card play, like many 3-pips are played, that aim is going to kind of go to waste. And also with Republic, you have to keep in mind you're not out activating your opponent often. I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Anthony. But I don't know. I'm still more of a C tier type.
I put it high C tier. It's a significant upgrade over Assault. Gets aims and Inspire on the board, but yeah, it's just not going to materialize into a whole lot in a lot of games. Like, it's not flashy, and it doesn't. You drop it for almost anything that hands out either more orders or has a more impactful effect, I think.
I can see where you guys are coming from. I found a lot of use for it on rounds 1 or 2 as like a good stall.
That was with clone commandos, right? Almost always.
Yeah, I was
Yep.
basically giving a name on Cloak Commandos, which is pretty good. So maybe that's why. So I guess it depends on the list, but I think if you have anything else that gives out
Yeah.
orders on a large scale, it's probably a
Yeah,
little bit
I
better.
mean, if you have stuff that could shoot round one, it's
Yeah, marksman, like a
solid.
marksman list, perhaps. Yeah, I mean, it certainly has its uses.
Yeah. Okay, I can go with that.
We'll see how it shakes out versus the other Jedi 3 pips that we're going to see.
So we'll move on to his wife, Padme Amidala. Her 1 pip. Our fate is in your hands.
F tier.
I'm gonna read it out just for clarity for audio listeners. Padme gets Danger Sense 2. And then she can also, within that round, she can remove suppression tokens within range 2 of her. And then each time she gets a suppression token removed, she gets a dodge up to 2 dodges. And it gives an order just to herself. So her 1 pip. It used to be good because she could give the order to someone else. But basically, it gets an order on Padme and 2 dodges, potentially.
Maybe. It gives it lets the main effect that it does is it lets her siphon all the suppression from troopers at range 2 of herself onto herself. She's like a low value unit, so if you're losing an action or if you're losing her activation to panic versus having a bunch of double 2, that's like the optimal use case scenario. But yeah, it's just really bad. Padme has no use for those dodges. If your opponent's shooting at Padme at all, you're probably okay with it. She's like the cheapest unit in Republic other than R2. She already has 6 health, surging white saves, so she like 2 more dodges isn't going to make or break it. She already has agile. She can already move and generate dodges. It's just a very clunky way to manage suppression in Republic. And it takes up one of your 1 pip slots and forces an order onto Padme, which is a unit that you don't really care about when she activates in most almost any round of the game. Unless it was like the deep end game. That's usually what comes up with these cards where they're like give 1 order to like a not very impactful unit. It's like maybe in the end game you would play it, but that's all I can think of. I would put it in F tier. I would put it.
Yeah.
I might
even if I had the choice, even if I had the choice to bring this card, I would not bring it. There's really no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's worse than Blastoff. Maybe it's worse.
I think it is worse than Blastoff.
Yeah. Blastoff at least potentially scores you a point.
Is
I
it
put
worse?
it below. I put it below all of them, honestly.
I think it's a.
I agree with Paul.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I would say in the event that it was in the old rules where Padme could give the order to someone else, you can maybe talk about it being an upgrade. I mean, it'd be a straight upgrade over ambush at that point, but it's just so it's never going to go off the way you want it to. It's just way too clunky.
Yep.
And she has Inspire 2 on her card already, so.
When you look at the 1 pips that this has to compete against in Republic, there's just like so few lists you could build with Padme where you wouldn't have a far better choice for your 1 pip and then just take ambush as the other one.
In my Everwinter winning list, GT winning list, I took ambush over this card. I would never even for a split second consider taking this card.
Yep.
Well, cool story. All right, we'll go on to her 2 pip. Aggressive negotiations. Padme and 1 trooper unit can order. When this unit is issued an order, they may make a speed 1 move, gain an aim token, gain a dodge token, or gain a surge token.
This is by far at the moment her best card. That being said, it's a C tier card.
Put an order on Padme is not the greatest.
Free. That's the issue. It's like the free speed 1 moves. When you think about, I forget what we ranked Leia's 2 pip in Rebels. I think we ranked it B tier.
Yep.
Leia's 2 pip obviously gives the 2 speed 1 moves to any 2 units. This basically has that effect plus potentially a bonus. The issue is
it's alternative
or
right?
alternate, like in situations
it's more flexible.
More flexible. The unfortunate part is obviously you have to give Padme one of the orders. Very low value unit. It procs agile, which gives Padme a dodge to start off the round, which isn't nothing. I think it's a free move card.
Yep.
She
does
fine.
have access to secret mission, so the free moves can be helpful for that. So I think if you were playing a version of Padme to try and score secret mission. This card is potentially useful in a way that the 1-pip certainly isn't really useful at all. So yeah, I'd put it like low C tier.
Yeah. It certainly
that's
has
fair.
it has obvious use cases, but it's certainly better than push. But at the end of the day, it's like if you're taking this card, it's often going to be your 6th card.
Yeah. If I had the choice, this would be the only card I would pick, and even then, the 2-pip slot can be competitive sometimes, depending on what list you're playing.
And this is her most taken card by far.
Yeah, it makes
Next
sense.
to most taken card is actually Our Fate is in Your Hands, which I think is probably from... Did she get reworked right when the new rules came out, or did it take a little
Yes.
while?
She
did?
Yeah.
That's... I don't know. But this card is taken 4 times as much as her next card.
When the new rules were announced, she was pre-made to remove Exemplar and Authoritative.
Yeah.
So.
Her... The card we're about to talk about, her 3-pip, is the least played card, Republic, that isn't R2.
And here we go. It's called Diplomatic Cover. It's a divulge card if you want it to be. If you divulge it, she gets Secret Mission, and if you don't, you get Inspire 1. So if you divulge it during the Resolve setup step, so you play this card, she gets Infiltrate, and it must be selected round 1. So similar to Vader's Darkness of Suns and other divulge cards where you can get Infiltrate. Yeah, this is a bad card.
Yeah, do you want to bring it back on screen, Anthony? Because it's basically, this card has 2 potential effects. It's either if you divulge or not divulge. It's crazy. The not divulging it is so bad. If you don't divulge this, she just gains Inspire 1. That's it. Which we gave a lot of crap to IG 88's 2-pip that gave him like an aim or a dodge maybe every round. That's like a ridiculously bad effect. Like, if you're taking this card, you're only taking it to divulge it and to try and score secret mission. Gaining Infiltrate is like high value. This came up in the last episode when we talked about Lando, right? Like, Infiltrate is a crazy good keyword, but Padme is not like a crazy good unit to have Infiltrate on, much less so than Lando. All that being said, I would put this in like D tier because it does still potentially score a point. It's potentially worth a point, which I think is something.
I also want to agree with you too. There is like merit. I think just because no one plays this card doesn't mean that there's no value to it. I think if you wanted to play like a secret mission Padme card like list, it's possible that she could be survivable that long.
Blaise, you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Secret Mission is
Very
a
good
really
commentary, buddy.
yeah. Hey, what do you want from me?
Are we gonna wait for Blaise to say something?
He sounds like he wants to say something.
Can you guys not hear me?
His mic.
Can you not hear me?
Speak, Blaise, speak.
I don't know why you can't hear me.
I would put it in D tier, bottom of D tier, because at least it allows you to score a point.
What do you think?
Going to pull what you remember the last episode when we almost got into a fist fight over sticking to the rubric? I'm going to pull that right now. And I quote, F tier, worse than the equivalent generic card should never be taken or requires to build a bad list to play it. Building a secret mission Padme list is a bad list.
I don't think
Your
so.
Honor? Your
I think
Honor?
you're off. I think you're off.
No, no.
Padme is a very good unit, super common.
Incredibly good support unit. If you are taking her card, it is because you are building around a bad list concept.
I don't think you bring it as the core concept of the list. I think that this is more of you have secret mission in case you get an objective set up where you would like to have the potential.
Sacrificing,
you often probably don't play this card.
Sacrificing order control on round 1 potentially to play, you're forced to play this card.
It's ultimately worth a point, I guess, is like, which I think is a pretty huge impact. It could be potentially big impact on the game.
And secret mission requires you to both survive in that enemy's deployment zone and the round. It's starting in the round of.
It's hard to do super unlikely that it comes out, but
I don't.
it could completely change the game. But yeah, I could see putting it in high F tier. It's certainly better than Blast
I think
Off
there's a
or
lot of
Impromptu.
a little bit of copium. I think if you're building a secret mission Padme list that
But
has
you
her as
you don't
well, it has it as like a plan B.
The thing
that
is,
should not be
you
a
don't
plan
need
B.
to build a list to do that because you probably already brought Padme. So all we're talking about is just bringing her 3-pip.
I
That's
guess we
the
haven't.
only cost.
I guess we haven't seen the other
playing a
3-pips. We haven't
secret
ranked the
mission
other
Padme.
3-pips yet.
Dude, there is like no list that's going to do. All right. I mean, I see what you're saying.
I think any list that has one other
I guess if you're
hero-
playing like I guess if you're playing like a Yoda list or
Yeah.
something, where it's like you're gonna have access to like
Or,
the
like,
other cards.
An Anakin
Yep.
list, whatever. Like, well, I guess we could.
I
You
think,
know
I
what?
think
Alright.
Yoda is probably the main combo that I'm thinking
Yeah.
of because he has such a good 3-pip already. And
But
he
you're
also has
never-
guidance, obviously, to help her. But yeah,
All
I
right,
don't know.
all right,
All right.
I'll
It's going
concede for now.
It's going to be very low D
we're
tier.
we're gonna
Yeah.
keep it there.
Yeah,
All right,
that's fine.
let's move to something a little bit more fun. We can go to one of the battle forces that Padme's not involved in, 501st. So this is the Legions of 501st 3-pip that they get. It's a permanent card for 3 special forces or 3 core units. It's a permanent card that gives Indomitable to all units around them if they're within range 2 of Anakin Skywalker. What?
No, keep going.
Oh, sorry. Within Anakin Skywalker or Captain Rex.
This is a pretty bad card, but in the context of 501st, I think you're often taking this as like your round 1 card. The order control is fine, giving 3 orders to core special forces units. You're probably having 5s in your list as well, so you're getting 4 orders out of this typically. The Indomitable, it could be valuable. I mean, when an ARC Trooper, the difference between 1 action and 2 is pretty significant, and this will often help that. It's a bit of a slow setup card, which Republic isn't always the worst thing. I think this is. It's a decent card. It's certainly an upgrade over Assault.
Yeah, the order every time I play this card, it feels really clunky on round 1, and I feel like it's either like C or D. Like, it is an upgrade from Assault, but I think the effect itself can help you in some lists that do require like suppression mitigation, but I don't know. I'm looking at maybe low C here. I don't think it's like that bad of a Battle Force card. It's definitely it's a card you should probably take most times because I don't know. It's a nice effect.
I would put it pretty high in C tier. I think the biggest problem with this card is it can't give an order to Rex or Anakin, who
You
are
have
the
to
2
do like
characters that you would want to have an order in that list usually.
you have to do like the reverse order control thing, and just like have improvised on Rex or something.
But it pretty much means that your clones are almost never going to lose in action. Indomitable on a Courage 2 unit is pretty rare. On average, you would need 6 suppression on a unit for Indomitable to cause them to lose 1 action, which is pretty nice. Like, it's nice. Certainly one of the reasons I think that you play 501st, other than just the list building of adding more arcs. But yeah, I put it in high C tier.
I think it's below his Anakin's 3-pip, but
I kind of like it more than
Yeah.
Anakin's 3-pip, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it adds like the long-term effect of just like knowing that. I mean, assuming you're playing it correctly as like you're planning on it, is like knowing your ARC Troopers are never gonna like lose an action is pretty huge. And Rex is also counts for Rex himself, right? So, and Rex is pretty suppressible. You don't really want him to be losing actions either.
Yep, and you also don't have to play it turn 1. Just because it's a permanent card doesn't mean you have to open it. You could wait until you get suppressed and then drop this card to help clear suppression across your army. So yeah, I think it's
high C.
Yeah,
Blaise,
I
what do
put
you
it in
think?
high C. It's a big upgrade over Assault.
I'd say it's slightly better than Anakin's 3-pip. I think in my 501st lists that I've played, I haven't played too much 501st. I take this card over Anakin's 3-pip.
Oh, I take this card and Anakin's root pip most times. Both are pretty good, but that's just me. All right, we'll go to the card I don't think I've ever played at all. Tactical Planning. They're 2 pip. Gives an order to 2 special forces or support units each time an allied support or special forces unit makes an attack against a unit that has a face up. After it's resolved, it gets shuffled back into their order pool. So this can apply both from the card
You've
effect.
definitely put this in the old rules.
No, I don't think so. I don't think.
You've definitely used this against me. I've seen it. I've
Maybe.
seen it used against me, but not in the new rules.
But yep. So this applies both from the card effect. You can get HQ uplink, any coordinates, directs. This also applies to that as well, which is pretty cool.
It doesn't even require. It doesn't require
no,
you to get
no
the face
required.
up from the card. Just any special forces or support for the entire round flips tokens back.
This often means that you'll have 3 to 4 units at least that could potentially put a token back in your opponent's bag, whether it's an ARC or an ATRT, BARC, whatever it is. It's an interesting card. I think the issue with this card is like the competitiveness of the slot in the
Right. Yeah.
If you're bringing 501st, the commanders you're often have pretty solid 2 pips. I mean, Anakin's 2 pip is pretty good. Ahsoka's 2 pip is pretty good.
Orbital strike,
which is also a very solid generic card. Rex's 2 pip is one of the reasons you bring him. So I don't think this is a bad card. I think my guess, and I'm curious, Paul, is this the least played card in 501st?
It probably is, because the next card coming up, it definitely has contention, because even if there are better 2 pips.
Called Tactical Planning, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is slightly more played than Our Fate is in Your Hands.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad card. I just think in the context of 501st is unfortunate. It's just too competitive. I'd put this in C tier. Like, it's got a powerful effect.
Yeah. I think it's better than Aggressive Negotiations, and I don't think it's better than the other 3 pips in that slot or in the C tier.
I think contextually, because you almost always have a Jedi or Rex in this army, not giving them an order to get this effect because it can't give them an order, I would put it like below Aggressive Negotiations because it creates some order control problems.
I agree. I think this is often like your 6th. If you're bringing this in 501st, it's your 6th card.
Yeah, if you're up against like CIS, potentially could be strong. Do any of the vehicles in 501st? Nothing in 501st really has the ability to split fire and trigger this. Which is
we have
problem.
Delta Squad and Commandos.
BARCs,
Delta Squad, and Commandos.
Yeah.
Yep.
The split firing, I'm mentioning that just because that would allow you to hit multiple units at once and flip multiple tokens.
But yeah, I would agree. I think it's a little bit. This is the last card from 501st, which counts as a 1 pip, but in the command building phase counts as a 2 pip. So you give an order to a commander unit, and then when a commander unit is issued an order of this card, choose up to 3 other units within one of that commander. Each of that unit gets an aim or a dodge token. The big benefit about 501st that most people don't know is it can bring 3 1 pips. It can bring Rex's 1 pip, Anakin's 1 pip, and then this 1 pip, because it counts as a 2 pip.
Yeah, that's where most of the value of this card comes from, I feel like. Just being able to have like 3 1 pips in this one is, more flexible.
It's a pretty good card. I mean, like, it generates a bunch of tokens on a 1 pip. Is it as good as like a double attack card or something? No. But when I'm looking at it, I'm like comparing it to a lot of other 1 pips. It feels pretty good. Like, you can pick between Anakin and Rex, or Ahsoka if you're running her.
And giving dodges to things around, like arcs that need dodges or aims, is pretty valuable in a list that's hyper aggressive.
Yep.
It's a solid card. I think I've waffled back and forth with, I think typically the issue I've run into with 501st lists is like, all right, am I taking this card? Am I Anakin's 2-pip or am I taking Rex's 2-pip? And like that's really where the concern is, and I'm sure we'll kind of get into that. I think this is somewhere in B tier. I don't know if it's above or below Anakin's 2-pip. I think it's probably below.
I'd put it above as a 2-pip that
Well,
becomes
out
a
a lot of
1-pip.
that gives out dodges or aims to units that might need it. It's pretty good. Because you can give this to Rex and then have given Anakin a dodge or whatever, and he doesn't have an order, but like it's still pretty valuable. I think the token generation on a 2-pip.
Blaise, you have thoughts on its value as a 2-pip that counts as a 1-pip?
Nope, I think you guys pretty much covered it. It's yeah, you can't really grade it as a 1-pip. You really got to grade it as a 2-pip, right?
Could almost think of it as it's a cunning 2-pip.
Yeah,
Kind of.
right.
Yeah,
It's like
fair
that's
enough.
a good way to like think about its value.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm happy with that. Solid
Yeah,
card.
Fine.
I think
It
solid
is
B tier.
by far
sure.
the most played card. It actually took me a while to find it. The next most played cards are like in the 50s, and this one is like 270. So it's much more played than
I like
the
it.
other.
I play this card all the
It's
time.
one of the main reasons, seemingly, that people play 501st. I guess
1-pips is very surprising to
Yeah.
a lot of people. And it lets you get an order on Anakin and
Oh,
not
yeah.
have him go.
I've been surprised by
First.
that. Back when 501st was meta in the old rules and at the beginning of the current rule set, that would catch me off guard all the time, where I'd be like, okay, I've counted out your 1-pips.
Nope.
And then this card would show up and I'd be like, dang it, they got a third one. Which is, I mean, the shock value is hard to grade, but it's a kind of random battle force to have that effect. Like, it's just kind of like, it just is thrown in there. But yeah.
It's pretty good. We'll finish off the battle force with one of the characters in them. At least one of the two. Rex's. Call me Captain 1-pip. Gives an order to Rex. And then each time, so Rex gets a face up, and then anytime a unit attacks an enemy within range 2 and line of sight of Captain Rex, he can add his attack pool of 3 dice to it, which can also work in the melees.
Conceptually, this card is like really cool. I really like it. That being said, so basically the adding of the 3 red dice to like attacks in like the range 2 band, even melee attacks, like you're getting like improving lightsaber attacks, I think is what you're doing a lot of the time with this. It's pretty cool. Could potentially add, like theoretically could be adding so many extra hits to your attacks. The issue is the setup. You know, you got to put Rex kind of out where he's able to be attacked, and then to turn it off, all they have to do is kill Rex, and that's like unfortunately in this game, as unthematic as that is very, very easy to do. I think this is a C tier card. I think it's like a high C tier in that you're not playing this every game. It's often going to be your 6th card, or you're only playing it for like the fact that it's a 1-pip, or you're maybe getting like 1 extra 3 red die to an attack, but has potential to like have a pretty huge impact. In my opinion, I think it's a C tier though.
Yeah, I think it fits our definition of the C tier, where it occasionally has a super high impact. Like if Rex is safe and you're looking to like mop up a bunch of weak activations from your opponent, like a bunch of B1s or something, he can let your clones just like shred B1s super quickly. You can hide him in melee now to trigger this card. So if he's in melee with something that can't fight back, you can get a lot of safe triggers on it. But yeah, I think, like you said, Jacob, realistically, a lot of times when I see this card played, you're proccing it like once or twice, and then Rex is dying, and it's kind of like pulling aggro onto Rex for a turn because of how potentially impactful it could be. But yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I don't know. C tier feels a little low, but I do think because of the situational...
Yeah.
I don't
think how easy it is to turn off.
It can't be higher than B. I think it is situationally set.
Yeah.
I think if it was able to do more.
If you proc this twice, then you added 6 red dice that you didn't have otherwise, which is a lot of dice. Like Anakin's card is obviously like 6 white dice. but it has to be dispersed and it has a lot of setup that it requires, probably more so than and with a 5 red save unit without any
that's
pierce.
the problem. I think if Rex had impervious, like we talk about very frequently, and I certainly talk about frequently, if Rex had 6 wounds or had impervious or was more survivable in some way, I think this card is much better because it's just the use cases are higher. But I also think when you're taking Rex, you're also taking other characters. And you're often going to take their more evergreen 1-pips over this one. I think I'm kind of between. I'm almost talking myself into like it being a B tier card because it has a potentially powerful effect. But I think following the rubric, its use cases are and in my own experience playing this card, it's like one out of every 5
It's very
games, it's going to be really cool.
What do you think, Blaise?
Yeah, I mean, what we're describing is like a Christmas land, right? Like in the ideal situation where he's like in a melee with like R2 and there are 5 rebel troopers around him. Like, yeah, it'll be spectacular for sure, but how often does that really happen?
Yeah.
That's true.
I didn't realize that the that bit about being able to hide him in melee now and still add the red dice is huge, honestly.
Yep.
It does make it way easier to trigger that.
I think if you're proccing this like 3 times or more, it's usually pretty devastating for your opponent. Like 3 times is pretty wild, which isn't that hard to pull off. But it does require your opponent to let Rex sit there for three of your activations.
A good opponent is not going to let that happen. Or like it would have to be like, again, like what Blaise is saying, like a Christmas sort of scenario. The stars have aligned to allow this to happen.
So where do you think this lies in C tier? Do you think
it's
above?
Top of C tier?
I think it's top of
now.
C.
Yeah, I'd say
there's some other cards that will be interesting to talk about in comparison to it.
All right. This is his 2-pip. Take that, Clankers. It gives 2 orders of 2 trooper units. This round, each time an allied trooper unit with a face-up makes an aim action during its activation, it may increase its maximum range up by 1 to a maximum of 4 until the end of activation. So this can also proc HQ uplink, direct, coordinate, whatever it is.
Yep, and importantly, as it says on the card, it requires an aim action during the unit's activation, not an aim token. So that means that units have to use one of their 2 actions. Presumably, if their next action is to shoot, that means that they're often standing still unless you're using it on like the Bad Batch or somebody who has access to like free attacks. Very hard to set up. Kind of requires like list building thought if you're going to bring this card of like what clone trooper weapons am I expecting to extend the range of. There are a lot of potentially good targets, like any range 3 or range 2 weapon that clones have access to can benefit a lot from this card. But the setup is pretty clunky on this card, I would say.
It requires, like you said, this list building, but a lot of units in GAR can benefit from this pretty easily, like the most offensive units, like the range 2 units or so.
So yeah, I'm thinking the setup is difficult. You're often not going to play this card, but it's less difficult than his 1-pip. I would also say there's a lot of use cases for this. You have marksman, basically being able to get them to range 5 threat range just based on the timing of the card.
Yeah, because long shot applies after the base range of the weapon is increased to 4.
So that's something interesting you could do. You could do some of these super squad, huge dice pools, make these huge range 3 dice pools into range 4. You could have like these shotgun, DP-22 attacks to be range 3. You can have an ARC trooper, aim shoot at range 3.
You can have Bad Batch aim move shoot at range 3. And so it's the same threat range, but it allows them to poke something from further away than they would normally be able to.
Keep them safer. There's a lot of interesting. I mean, Rex himself, you could get the gunslinger shot at range 3. Yep. It's not nothing. What Anthony had mentioned is it's every face-up order. So if you have an HQ uplink or you have 5s who has coordinate, Or if you have the coordinated strike advantage, you'll often wait till you play this card and just add those face-up orders and get like half your army to be able to do this effect. It does require some list building, but I think it's a pretty good list concept because almost every unit could benefit. Clone Commandos could benefit from it, of being able to shoot their anti-vehicle weapons at range 3 at that point. And you're often just aim shooting with them anyway. I think also one thing to note, even though it doesn't necessarily benefit them from an effect standpoint, it still does have the flexibility. You can still issue the orders to like Anakin or Obi-Wan or whoever. They don't get the effect, but like you still have the order control option.
Yeah, and when it triggers on any face up, it's like you can probably get a face up to the handful of units that you would want to use this on, and then get an order on your focus pieces. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's somewhere. I think it's somewhere like in C. I think it does require like list building and setup with intention if you bring Rex, but I think it's a good C tier.
I think it's a B tier card. I think the use cases are like endless.
Yeah, I think it's slightly better than Call Me Captain because of how much more consistent it is. It actually does the inverse of Call Me Captain. It allows you to have units not be at risk and to attack without having to move closer to your opponent. When I think of like the ideal uses for this, it's usually like you're set up on an objective. You don't want to get any closer to your opponent with like your valuable units, but you want to contribute to the fight, either by like cross map shooting at another POI that unit can't realistically make it to, or just by poking your opponent without having to move off the objective and get closer to them. And that's pretty easy to set up because it happens earlier in the game. Like usually, like when we're talking about like Christmas land scenarios, or like, which is what we just mean like optimal scenarios. It's a lot easier. It's much more predictable to work yourself into that position early in the game than it is to like get Rex in that like close quarters combat but not dead scenario. So
Blaise,
I put it.
What do you think? You could be the decider on this.
Yeah, no, I'd give it B for sure. Like when we say that it requires a little bit of a list building prep, it's a pretty like minute amount. It doesn't really take a lot to
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Yeah.
Work it into the list. You know,
The combo
it's not
with
super
Marksman
restrictive.
is really interesting, and I haven't seen any of you guys play it. I haven't heard anybody try and use it yet, but it's cool. I almost think with Marksman that you actually probably wouldn't often use it on turn 1. It'd be more of like a turn 2 or 3 to like surprise someone by being like, now your POI on the opposite side of the map can be hit by like a super squad of Marksman.
Yeah, it's just so many
cool
interesting use cases, and then you could like your list is going to have a lot of units that could benefit from this. Every single game you play, you could be putting this on different units.
Yeah. Yep. You could even throw grenades at air speeders with this.
One use case I had with it was using like having an impact grenade on 5s and having a range 2 impact 4 pierce 2 or pierce 1 shot. Like it's there's some cool stuff you could do with this card. I actually think it is better than Anakin's 2-pip.
More consistent.
Yeah, I mean personally, I think it's better than the other card in there. Personally,
Go Rex.
But I'm also biased because I really want Rex to be good. He's my favorite Star Wars character.
I think it's a good card. I don't know if I could be convinced.
I would put it below Anakin's 2-pip though. Like Anakin's 2-pip is you're adding 6 white dice to a pierce.
It's a little
attack.
bit more evergreen. I hear
and
that.
Is it that hard to set up a scenario where your opponent has a face down order token? The answer is no, because it has to happen.
It's fine.
Ick.
Solid card.
Yep. Pretty good. All right.
One of the reasons you bring Rex.
His last card, We're Not Programmed, his 3-pip. It gives out orders to 4 clone trooper units. A lot of units. Rex gets 2 surge tokens at the start, and he also gets Spire 2. And then at the start of his next activation, he may make a recover action.
I've been playing this card a lot. It is my typical opener for my Obi-Wan Rex list I've been playing. The order control is really nice. You're often playing 5s these days. So with Coordinate Clone Trooper, you're getting 5 orders. One thing that you're able to do with this, if you have improvised orders on Rex, when he starts his activation, he gets a free recover action. So basically, you get a guaranteed 2 uses of improvised orders. It's basically, at the end, you can't order non-clone troopers, which is a bit of a restriction. But in Republic, which is a low activation count typically anyway, when you have 5 orders out there and 2 uses of improvised orders, all 3 games coordinate. All 3 games that I played in this tournament in Montreal over the weekend, I opened with this card and was never upset about it. And then 2 surges on Rex from reliable
if you're
too.
playing like a 9 or 10 activation list, you're getting 5 orders off this card with coordinate, which means if you put that on everything, you're probably just going to have like your commanders and maybe like 1 special forces like in your bag, 1 or 2 special forces with double improvised. Yeah.
You're reverse sorting your bag, which is not that bad because like you'll have either your like Obi-Wan or Anakin go at the very last. So I would say this is a good like B tier 3 pip. I'd say somewhere around B.
With the timing change to Inspire, you can actually use the Inspire on turn 1, which is nice.
And you can share surges
end
too.
of activation. Yeah, I don't know where that means we put this. I gotta look at the rubric.
I think it's more consistent to that Clankers. I think it's maybe below Anakin's 2 pip.
Not as impactful as like the 2 pip, but their use cases are much more obvious.
Is this a B tier because you expect to play it almost every game that you would bring it?
And it can't have. I mean, the impact is such that the order control is really solid. Like it's better. Basically, besides Yoda's 3 pip, it's the best 3 pip for order control in Republic.
I think you get a choice to not bring it. I think there's an argument for that, but I think if you're bringing Rex and another character, I think this could. I think you'd probably play this more like round 1 each time.
Yeah, what were you gonna say, Blaise?
Yeah, no, I was just I think I kind of rethought what I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, I guess I have a hard time thinking of how to value the 4 clone trooper like unit
over like the standard 3 units.
Yeah, just because there aren't really any units in Republic that like directly that many clone units in Republic that directly benefit from being ordered, right? Like not a lot of target floating around or
just Cody, right?
Well, it's Cody and clone commandos.
Oh yeah.
And 5s with coordinate.
I think the coordinate chain really helps, kind of amplifies this card a little bit because you're getting an extra order out of it, which I think in the Republic when you're only having 3 core probably at the minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a 3 pip that issues 4 orders, which is an uncommon ability.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard for me to say that this card is B tier and the Anakin card is C tier, though.
Yeah, I think this is. I would rate this the highest 3 pip in C tier.
Yeah, because it's like the Anakin card has almost the same effect, and just it is any units.
I would put it below. Actually, it's you're playing.
I put it below Call Me Captain. I think.
Yeah.
No, I put it above Call Me Captain.
I think above Call Me Captain.
I think you're playing this all the time if you're playing.
Yeah, you play it because it's a little bit. It's good order control turn 1, and you're not going last anyways. As Republic, so.
And 2 surges on Rex isn't nothing. Inspire 2 is not nothing either.
Yep. Hooray!
All right, what character do you guys want next, or what unit or Battle Force want next?
Let's do Commander Cody as Buddy.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here's his Commander Cody's 3 pip combined arms. Gives orders to 2 trooper units, and 2 vehicle units. Okay, so during Commander Cody's activation, he can make 2 free actions, which are observe actions, up to 2 times. So we can give out 4 observes total during this card. And then if an attack is spent with a vehicle's observe token, they can make a allied trooper within 1 of that vehicle to make a speed 1 move.
Let's go back to that. This round, each time an allied vehicle unit declares an attack against an enemy unit that has 1 or more observation tokens, the allied unit may spend one of those tokens. If it does, after the attack is resolved, an allied clone trooper within one of that vehicle may make a speed 1 move.
Free moves are good. This is very, very, very hard to trigger in the way you want it to. It requires so many things to be happening at the same time. Whether it's like it needs to have the observation token, it needs to be a unit that's at range 1 of the vehicle. It also, the order control, it is the other card that issues 4 orders on a 3-pip, but it is restricted to 2 vehicles and 2 clone troopers, or is it clone troopers or just units?
Trooper units.
It is 2 trooper units. It's in some ways it's less restrictive, in some ways it's more. I think you are unless you're like playing like a Cody 2/12 list, I think you're probably leaving this card at home. I think this is like a higher D tier card. Like there's obvious like use cases for it, but it is such a niche list build.
There's
Scenario.
better use of it now because our troopers have Observe 1. Hound and Grizzler has always existed. But yeah, I would say this is probably high D's better than Padme's 3-pip. The double Observe is nice for Cody, but it requires both Cody and the vehicle to go first, or some combination of a higher impact unit going first to get a move of your clone trooper. Yeah, that's probably D for me.
I would put it higher. It is a 3-pip that issues 4 orders, which is pretty good. So pretty strong round 1 opener just for the order control. One challenge is that Cody already has direct vehicles, so you're kind of blowing his direct vehicle unless you have 3 or more vehicles, which is pretty common in some, especially with 2/12 out. In those lists, it gives you near perfect order control on your 3-pip. If you're triggering the effect, that's icing on the cake, I think. In most cases, it punishes someone who gets too close to you on round 1. Yeah, but there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get the free moves.
You think low C, like below tactical planning, low C?
Or is it a little below tactical planning? I would put it like below General Skywalker, I guess.
Thoughts? Any thoughts?
Nah, I'd agree. Like mid C, the effect is, like you said, super hard to trigger. 4 orders. We've already kind of made a judgment on how valuable that alone is.
Jacob?
I'd say below aggressive negotiations. That's my negotiation, is it needs to be below aggressive negotiations. I think it is. I don't know. I think it's a pretty bad 3-pip.
You're just realistically never triggering the effect.
Republic has a lot of strong 3-pips. This is one of the worst.
I mean, it's bad because you almost never use the actual effect, but it is.
Well, you're giving out a lot of orders, though.
Yeah, so it's just better. It's a lot better than Assault, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Potentially 4 to 5 orders.
Yeah, that's true. CT is fine.
We'll keep it there. All right. I'll read this one out loud, all of it, because this one's hard too. Is Cody's 2-pip, have I ever let you down? Commander Cody and 1 trooper unit get an order this round. Each time a unit that is issued an order with this card suffers 1 or more wounds from enemy attack while within range 1 of Commander Cody. After the attack is resolved, if Commander Cody is within 4 of the attacking unit and has LOS to it, he may make an attack against that unit.
So this is the Obi-Wan Cody card. Basically, it interacts with Obi-Wan's Guardian. So if Obi-Wan is guarding a unit and takes a wound, Cody gets a free attack against something that's in line of sight and range 4 and all that stuff. I've played a Cody Obi-Wan list. I've played over 20 games with that list. I've played this card a handful of times and got it to do the thing once, like in the way that I wanted to against Blaise, where the Cody free attack killed something. It is just so hard to trigger. It is like the use cases where like Obi-Wan, and you don't have to use it on Obi-Wan, right? But like that's where it's ideal. It is just so hard to trigger.
Yeah, I mean, it also works on Cody. The wording also means if Cody takes wounds, he can shoot back.
He has the same problem as Rex, where he can just get easily deleted almost
Yeah, I
instantly. 'cause
mean,
of-
he doesn't usually get one shot. It would be pretty hard to one shot Cody with a range attack. You'd need a surplus of 10 hits in one attack to take him out in a single shot. So if Cody's exposed and you have another unit that's exposed, it could. The thing with this card is that every time I see it played, it's just the threat of it changes how your opponent actually plays the round. Like, usually once this card goes up, your opponent starts maneuvering to be like, all right, I'm only going to shoot if Cody can't see me. I'm only shooting at something like Obi-Wan Guardian if I'm fully blocked off from Cody, or I'm like putting Cody in melee so that he can't do ranged attacks, so he can't really use the effect of this card. Which is worth something, like changing what your opponent does around this card to try and avoid the Cody attacks. Because if your opponent just lets you fire off Cody attacks, it's a very powerful card. I would say much better than Rex's 1-pip if it's triggering, because Cody's gun is much more effective. But the counterplay with a skilled opponent is pretty easy. Like, you just hide from Cody and then it has no effect. So it's hard for me to say how much like burning a couple of move actions off your opponent is, you know?
It's somewhere in C, but is the effect itself, is it triggering more than Call Me Captain, or is it triggering less?
I
or
think
like
it's
the
less.
threat, or the threat of it
It's
potentially
triggering
triggering is
less,
less.
but it has
Or-
much more of an impact on what your opponent is actually doing in that round. It works all the way out to range 4, I guess, is like what I'm saying. Is like your opponent has to think about this from pretty far
range
away.
4 and in line of sight of Cody.
Yeah, which is map
Yeah,
And
dependent.
needs to take a wound, and yeah, I mean the
Yeah.
ideal case is like Obi-Wan deflects a wound, takes a wound, Cody takes a shot, and like that unit that just attacked you to put one wound on like Obi-Wan and one wound on like a clone trooper just took 4 wounds themselves.
And
Like
taking a wound also on Obi-Wan is also kind of expensive too. Depends on what you want.
but
to
you
take the wound on.
also have to bear in mind the unit has to be within range. What is it? Range 1 of Cody.
The defending unit.
Defending unit has
yeah, not defending, but the unit that suffers a wound has to be
Yeah.
range 1 of Cody.
not always easy, to keep Obi-Wan or whatever unit near Cody. Like if it's Bad Batch, it's like I think this card is just it has a powerful use case. I think it's somewhere in C. I agree it's somewhere in C because it has such a situationally powerful effect, but I think it's pretty low because it is so hard to set up versus like some of these other situational cards.
Is it below his own 3-pip? Or
I
is
think that's a little low. This list was in the World Championship list. This list won. This
And
card
yeah,
won
but
Worlds.
he never. Yeah, but he almost. I think
He
I
played
remember. Yeah, but not often. Like
I think he usually played it. I don't know how much he triggered the attack. But I do think that he
The
played it a decent amount.
If the threat of getting shot by Cody is enough to warrant you not to trigger that, it has to probably maybe be above Anakin's 3.
I'd say above Anakin's 3-pip.
I'd put it above the 501st. I might put it.
It ain't
I would
better
put
than
it-
Rex's 1-pip though.
I think it's better than Rex's 1-pip. It's a 2-pip. It's not a 1-pip. Doesn't take that slot away from something else.
2 pips are pretty competitive in
Hey
Republic.
there, dog.
What'd you say, Blaise?
Nothing.
I think Blaise agrees with me.
I didn't.
do
I didn't. What did
agree.
you say? Okay.
Said got you there, dog.
What are the other competitive
The-
2-pips? Get in position.
Well, yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, okay. Well, Obi-Wan's
Take that
2-pip.
clankers.
Bottom.
Take
Well,
that clankers.
well, first.
It-
Okay, you're saying like we're talking about this world's winning list. Obi-Wan's 2-pip, much better than this. And then I think you can
Well, he
make an
brought both of
argument.
them.
Yeah, but I think you can make an argument that the generic lat 2-pip of like the guaranteed like beam attack into like 3 things with a surge to crit Cody going into it is better than
Yeah, I mean,
this card.
this is a yet another card. It's funny because it's almost like it is an Obi-Wan card. If this is played in combination with Obi-Wan, it's yet another card that makes it so your opponent doesn't want to shoot anything that's near Obi-Wan, which is the main way that it's used. Is it's like another defensive bubble
I've been
around
convinced.
Obi-Wan.
I think it's better than Rex's 1-pip. I've been convinced now.
It's not though.
If you played this when your entire list was exposed, I think you would probably see the value of it much better. If your list is already hiding, it's an interesting card. I would put it more than, just also by nature of it being a 2-pip and much harder. And obviously, like Cody, usually if your opponent decides to focus Cody, he usually gets like a parting attack.
I think we're talking like it is so theoretical. Yeah, it's like, but the theoretical is it happens 1 out of every 10 games. Rex, it's happening.
I think your 10% is very low.
Like where you're getting like a juicy
played in the
attack
finals of but you don't need to get a juicy attack off.
I don't think I've ever really gotten an attack off with this card yet.
He definitely played. This card
and
was
you've
definitely
been playing
played in the
Republic
finals
for many years.
It's very hard to get it off.
I played 20 games. Everwinter winning list, by the way. I played 20 games with Cody Obi-Wan. I got this card to go off once.
I guess I was also not
did
playing
the
around
attack.
it. I was
How many times did you bother playing it?
Like 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta play it. You gotta play the card to do the effect.
It's the worst card in the hand.
I brought standing orders 20 times and it never did anything.
When I played Obi-Wan and Cody, dude, this is probably the most time we're going to talk about Cody. And I had the intention of playing it, and I don't think I procced it that much, but it was kind of scary for the opponent. But
I think you guys should try and play it.
I have played it. No, I have played it. I have played it. I have
try and play it where you would play Obi-Wan's 2-pip.
No, just play Obi-Wan's 2-pip. It's better.
No, just try it. I'm just saying, try it. It's
I will say
psychological defense card.
I think it's a little. I think when you don't want to play Obi-Wan's 2-pip, if in our game, if you played that card there, it's maybe potentially better than Obi-Wan's 2-pip.
But I didn't have Cody in that list.
That's what I mean. If you had whatever. All right, this is too much about Cody.
I disagree.
In all fairness, we are talking about like hypothetical mind games. Like it isn't exactly like a super tangible effect of the card.
We just gotta look at the card effect at itself. The mind games, yes, there's a lot to it, but Blaise is right. Blaise is right. Blaise is right. Blaise is putting us back on schedule. All right.
I mean, we're arguing about it being either the second best card or the third best card.
We're also looking for podcast up.
Mid-tier C.
You better. If I will stop talking about it right now. If you put it below Rex's 1-pip.
No,
don't give us an ultimatum.
Okay, all right. I'm going to bring out the card of I've played more Cody and Obi-Wan than all of you combined.
But you don't even bother to play the card.
I tried, and it was not useful.
No, you just put it in your hand, and then you just put it back in your deck box at the end of the day. You're not imaginative enough.
Obi-Wan's at range 1 of Cody in this perfect Christmas land scenario. Anthony,
someone else played
I'm right.
for you or something?
Anthony, you know I'm right. What is he doing?
Adding a row above. Slightly
what is
better.
He doing?
Hold on. I fucked it up.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Slightly better than Rex's 1-pip. Artwork is cooler.
All right. Well, that's a better reason to put it above the 1-pip.
Bring it down.
Bring it down. Dude, we talk about Cody too much, bro. This Cody's 1-pip gives an order to Cody. During this activation, Cody may make his free observe action up to 2 times. Each time an allied unit declares an attack against an enemy unit that has 1 or more observe tokens, that allied unit may spend on one of those tokens. If it does, that attack gains suppressive as if it's a trooper unit, or impact 1 if it's a vehicle unit. It doesn't have to be Cody's observes. It can be any of the observes.
This card is super clunkily worded, but actually pretty decent. And why I say it's clunky is because there are a lot of vehicles that don't have armor. There are a lot of troopers that don't care about suppression. There are troopers that don't care about suppression and do have armor, and this does nothing to them, like Dark Troopers. Does nothing to speeders. So it's kind of annoying that it's like the card is meant to be like Cody can be flexible and help your list take down anything, but then it just doesn't work on like a large portion of units in the game. All that being said, it is pretty solid. If you're shooting anything with armor, it lets your list bring down armor super quickly. And the suppressive effect is not so good. It's unlikely. Maybe if they add like rancors or something, but like most trooper units aren't going to sit out in the open and get pummeled like 4 times.
I don't know. I found people. I play this card a lot. comparatively to his 2-pip, and I find that I've been using more of the suppressive effect a lot, and it's very helpful because he has range 4, and if you combine with a vehicle for range 4 weapon, it does force them to go first with that unit.
Yeah,
Or
and you can I forgot, you can split the observe, so you can hit two
yep,
different targets with this.
yep, you have
Yeah.
some reserves, some Hound and Grizzer, and the ARF troopers or anything like that. So
There's
it
more
works
and
like
more ways to get observation tokens out there in addition to Cody himself. I think,
Star
yeah,
Pilot from the ISP.
when I played Cody, I was playing this card almost every game. I was typically, I mean, it's a good anti-vehicle hedge. Cody, sneaky good against vehicles.
Yeah.
That was where that famous line
Classic
came.
Jacob line.
Wow, Cody is sneaky good against vehicles.
It's almost like his entire kit is designed around killing vehicles.
Yeah, I think I would put this. I mean, it's still. I mean,
I
it's.
put it near Take That Clankers. It's kind of similar.
I think it's probably slightly below Take That Clankers because, I mean, you're taking a Jedi, you're taking their 1-pip over this. I think it's definitely. It's not one of the strongest 1-pips in the game. Or
But-
in Republic, but it is
Yeah.
like it's solid. There's a lot
it
of flexibility.
I
I think
think
it's a very flexible one.
one thing that at least is informing how I think about Republic cards that I guess we had talked about, and this sort of informs, I think, a little bit of like the Cody 2-pip thing and the Rex 1-pip, is Republic doesn't have the points often to bring as many characters as other factions. So there is more space for these like secondary characters cards. Because it's very hard to make like an Anakin and Obi-Wan list, even with 1,000 points, that actually has like enough bones behind it. So a lot of times, most lists that I see are like Obi-Wan Cody, Anakin Rex, Anakin Cody, like all these different combinations of like an expensive hero and then like a secondary support commander.
And you can fit Padme in there because she's cheap enough, but typically
Yeah, Padme's so cheap, she's like a core unit. But yeah, and her cards suck.
Yep, she's just a good support unit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a good card. This card has like done a lot of damage to me. It's especially with Aqua Droids being like
sneaky good against armor.
It's very good at
Sneaky good.
letting clones that like annihilate any heavy vehicle if it's out of position.
I think the one drawback it has is like it forces you to issue an order to Cody, which is someone you generally don't care a whole lot about having orders when like in the middle of the game. It's always nice for him to have an order. He's got target 1, he's always involved in combat, but if you're playing like an Anakin Cody or an Obi-Wan Cody list, it's like I kind of would have preferred to have the order on Obi-Wan. When I took Cody, I think you always want, like, you're often playing him with Bad Batch. You're going to want a copy of Trusted Agent in there if you're playing this card. So that is a drawback of the card, but I think we're all on the same page. It's pretty solid somewhere in B.
All right, let's get some Dookie cards up here.
Blaise, what are the Dookie cards you want up here?
Hit me with the Wooks.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. All right.
Uh-oh.
They changed the names of them. They're not as fun, but you got Defiance, the generic Wookiee 1-pip. It gives an order to a Special Forces or a support unit. When an allied unit is issued an order with this card, if a commander Wookiee trooper unit issued that order, and if the order unit has 1 or more wound tokens or has had 1 or more miniatures defeated, the ordered unit gets an aim, a dodge, and a surge token.
Just want to point out quickly about this art. This is only takeable in Galactic Republic, and it's showing a Wookiee punching a stormtrooper.
Don't even say that. That's bad. This art used to be a more cropped image. That was just the Wookiee, I think.
Yes, it was just the Wookiee.
They zoomed it out because a lot of the art on, especially this is kind of just a funny like meta level weird thing I know, is a lot of the art on the Battle Force cards is taken from like the shared library of board games. So you see these artworks in other Star Wars board games. Because I don't think they could be bothered commissioning special artwork for like the Battle Forces usually. So yeah, it's kind of funny. This is, I think, the best of the Wookiee cards. And would it surprise you to know that all of these Wookiee cards are taking about twice as much as Padme's cards?
Wow.
The battle force is
because
played
you
a
have
lot.
to bring them if you play the
Yeah, I
battle
guess
force.
if you, yeah,
Essentially,
that's true.
You don't have to bring them. You could bring them, but they
yeah,
most likely won't.
they. We'll get into it, but I think this is like a high D tier card. The token generation is good. The order restriction is not great. It actually can't even go to a commander, which there are 2 Wookiee commanders, and this effect can't be used on them, which is super weird. Like Chewbacca and the chieftain who has duelist, can't benefit from this card when he needs aims and dodges for duelist.
You can issue them an order from either
Seize the initiative.
seize or trust whatever, but like
it's
it's
true.
like that's what I used to do.
Can you bring it up? Is that still true? I feel like
I
bring
feel
up
like
the card.
That's still true. Hold on. Is this issuing? Oh, this
no,
card.
with
Never
this
mind.
card, yeah, they removed
no,
it. Doesn't
they made
work
it
with
worse.
Seize. They nerfed it. Yeah, so so you need to have a Wookiee commander. It works on non-Wookiee units. It works on like arcs and stuff, but yeah, I'd put it like D tier. It generates some tokens. If you're playing a Wookiee list, you probably have a Special Forces unit that can benefit from it. It works on the Rada Nasp for no reason. And it works on Delta Squad.
I guess it is better than Padme's 3-pip.
Whatever.
I'll take it. All right. The next one. Get in position. It's there. Yeah, I used to have a cooler art for this. Had them like on snail tanks. This is their 2-pip, generic 2-pip that gives 2 trooper units orders. When an allied trooper unit is issued an order with this card, if a commander Wookiee trooper unit is issued that order, the ordered unit gets agile 1.
And its allied Wookiee trooper is issued an order with this card. So
potentially over the course of the round, when you're in the context of Wookiees that you're ordering, it could be 4 dodges between 2 Wookiee units.
Yep.
It gives 2
they
orders.
Have charge, and they have duelist, so those dodges, they can actually double move and then still make an attack, and that gives them immune pierce. So it's good on Wookiees, and it's only usable on Wookiees and requires you to bring a Wookiee commander, which is a bad unit.
Is
I would is this an F tier card because of requires you to make a bad list?
Well,
probably not. I don't think we should be that harsh on it.
Well, you could bring.
Problem is like it's better than push. So I think you have to put it in
it's a lot better than push.
Yeah. I think,
and you don't have to bring the Wookiee chief. You bring Chewbacca because he's still a cool Wookiee commander that in list building. So,
you could bring Chewbacca. I mean, doesn't mean you can't have like Yoda too, like in the list. It just means that when you're issuing the orders, it has to be from the Wookiee chieftain or something. So it's like you don't necessarily have to have a horrible list to take this, but
I think it's somewhere in D. I don't think it gets worse at push. You're giving agile to units that need it for duelist or in survivability.
Yeah, I think D tier means that it is better than push if you have a list that can use it, which I think is
I think
above
below Defiance.
I say above Padme's 3-pip.
That's for sure.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would put this above Defiance.
I think it does proc. It gives
it's
out
more flexible.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, the last Wookiee card here, Daring Defense. Look at these B2s getting chopped up.
Good artwork.
Yeah. I like the other artwork better. It was with snail tanks. They were like 3 trooper units. When an allied trooper unit is issued an order with this card, if a commander Wookiee trooper unit issued that order, the order unit gets demoralized 1 this round.
And this was the card that was it was like the Tarzan yell card.
It was pretty
they
cool.
nerfed these cards aura so much by giving them
they made them more readable.
Super whack.
More readable.
Shriwook. This is an F tier, I would say.
But it is better than Assault.
Is it really, though? How much better is Demoralize 1 on 3 units than Assault?
Yeah, and then the fact that you have to take the Wookiee commander in order to do it.
Yeah, like this is like barely better than Assault. It's like to the point that, and Demoralize 1 requires you to activate at range 2 of your opponent, which probably means that you were already in melee. So it's like, how often are you in melee with like 3 Wookiees?
Yeah,
and then you want to give them all orders instead of playing a 1-pip and having one of them like Alpha Strike something. I would put it at top of F tier.
Yeah, I think
at some point these Wookiee cards have to be punished for only being bringable with the Wookiee Chieftain and Chewbacca.
Yeah, let's put it in high F.
Look at that. Blast stuff has competition now. It's good. All
Just
right,
super low impact card. Doesn't really do anything.
We're going to finish out the Wookiee by getting Chewbacca out the way here. If I can find him. All right, here we go. Size matters sometimes. This is the combo card with
It's so
Chewbacca,
long.
Chewbacca and Yoda. Sorry, I have to read this whole up. This is a lot of
Is
words.
the card with the most text on it?
No,
it
I don't
might
think
be.
so. I don't think so.
I think
Like
it's
the
up
most
there.
actual words on it. This got to be close. The Inquisitor 2-pip.
All right, I'm gonna try my best here. Reading in school is not my forte. All right, so this gives issues in order to Chewbacca and Yoda. It says 2-pip. If Chewbacca is within 1 of Yoda, and if that Yoda is on the battlefield, place that Yoda in base contact with Chewbacca. If you do, until the end of the round, that Yoda cannot make moves, and each time Chewbacca moves, after that move is resolved, place that Yoda in base contact with Chewbacca. While an allied Yoda is in base contact with Chewbacca this round, Chewbacca gains deflects, can spend that Yoda's dodge tokens, and rolls red defense die when defending or using Guardian.
I like the way this card is worded, that it's an allied Yoda, because they were afraid that your Chewbacca might snatch up the enemy Yoda and like kidnap him and run away, which
Dude,
I really
that's a
like.
better card.
Dude,
Would have been
I
way
love
cooler
that.
if in the Yoda
Yep.
Chewie mirror match, 1 in a million, you just like kidnap the opponent's Yoda and run away with him.
It'd be really cool. It'd be really cool. Just like, all right.
I know.
Dude,
Come on.
I would
fix
love
the
that
game.
to exist.
Or you could just start, if Yoda ever became meta, you could start running counter meta Chewbacca. Let's just
Oh,
kidnap
just-
Yoda.
Start bringing Chewie
Mike
as a
Barry,
Yoda
I'm
hedge.
coming for your ass. I'm gonna kidnap you.
So essentially,
Unfortunately not.
Yoda
unfortunately
just gets binded, gets binded on a Chewbacca, makes some moves. And then it gets really freaky on the way how you can place him in melee and stuff, but the idea is that you're bringing Yoda on Chewbacca because he's much faster than Yoda.
Yeah. Yoda basically just becomes part of Chewbacca. He can still guidance him and keep moving. You could do some weird shit with this by just like placing Yoda in melee, but Chewbacca isn't in melee. It is a really cool card, and the effect is really powerful. The thing that screws this card is the first sentence, which is that they have to both be on the battlefield.
Yep.
So that means that it cannot work on round 1 at all.
Yep. I was thinking this card might be good, but since you cannot deploy it before, it's a round 2 or 3 card, and it doesn't give any tokens. It doesn't really give tokens. It does give a benefit to Chewbacca. He has red defense die.
Yeah, it's
It's a solid card for like keeping him alive while he gets Yoda there. And then Yoda
I
can
mean, it
blast
makes him
off.
almost unkillable. It's like you have 9 red saves, deflect. It doesn't give him immune pierce, right? But I don't know. It's like 9 saves with deflect is pretty awesome. It's a really good card if you get it up. It just requires you to bring Commander Chewbacca.
And unfortunately, the Guardian keyword with Commander Chewbacca, unlike the Chewbacca and Rebels, is you could only Guardian commander units. So it's
Chewbacca
basically your
is
only
a commander.
So it means you're only able to use the Guardian rolls on Yoda, who doesn't necessarily need it as much.
I would say in the context of outside both the Battle Force and in the Battle Force, I think it's somewhere probably around like high D. I think it does make Yoda, like the Yoda Chewie combo, like that's the point of it. Like you're supposed to get Chewie and Yoda in there.
I actually think this is I think this is a C tier card because the effects are powerful. I mean, you turn this 9 health unit into surging red saves with deflect. You get to move Yoda super fast. I think unfortunately, just in the way the game is right now, Chewbacca's not a great unit.
And Yoda still has his 2 actions, so he can like double swing if you drop him off a melee, or double shoot super easily with like good target selection. I think it's a very good card. I think that first text is really bad for it. unfortunately. I don't know how you evaluate those two things.
I think because since you can't play it round 1 and you're not getting the movement, it's probably around C tier in my opinion. Then, if since you guys are convincing me, somewhere in C. I think it's maybe below 501st cards. I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
you're probably playing it mostly every time. If you're playing with Yoda and Chewbacca, you're probably playing it all the time.
True.
yeah,
And it's a
if you're
very fun
playing
card.
Yeah. If you're playing a version of Yoda that's like you want him to be aggressive and your plan is to get him embedded, this is I would say a better card than like Burst of Speeding him in, because he's probably going to get 2 attacks when he does this card because Chewbacca's carrying him. It also, like, if Yoda gets immobilized from Burst of Speeding, Chewbacca can pick him up and carry him somewhere else. It lets Yoda really zoom around the board.
I think
I'd put this in B tier,
Yeah, I
as a
think-
card.
yeah, I
Blaise, were you gonna say
actually.
something.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Blaise.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just the ability for Yoda to spend both of his actions on attacks is pretty huge, and it's another turn where Yoda's mobility isn't really an issue. I'd say firmly in B.
Yeah, I was about to think of it in this way. Like, we know Yoda's 2-pip is really, really strong. In the context of the Wookiee battle force, where there's, like, not a lot of great targets for Yoda's 2-pip, I think this card is, like, this is your round 2, like, charging in
Yeah.
card over Yoda's 2-pip, which is already, like, one of the best
Yeah.
charging in cards in the
That's
game.
fair.
And I think it also frees you up to not have to take Burst of Speed, which you could allow Yoda to get a little creative with force upgrades. Yeah, I agree. I think this is somewhere in B.
All
Yep.
right. I think that's my
It's
homework.
pretty much the reason that you bring Chewbacca.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think since you're playing it every time, I think it's probably high B then, if that's the point.
Yeah,
and
I would put
purpose.
it up there. It's a good card. It takes a lot of skill. It's a super high skill card, which is cool.
I
There's
think
so
that's
many
gonna be my
tricks you can. We can't get into it, but there's so many tricks you can do with this
That's my
Super
homework.
fun card.
I'm playing Yoda Chewbacca. I'm gonna see how
without
that
the
works.
battle force.
Without the battle force, I'm not gonna do it. All right. Speaking of good cards, let's go to a good card. Whose beings are we? This is Yoda's cards. Yoda's my favorite character. So Yoda issues an order to each eligible unit. So basically, anyone on the board. Yoda gets 2 aims, 2 dodges, and 2 surges. Yoda can't attack this round. Till the end of the round, allied units within range 3 of Yoda can spend Yoda's tokens that he gets. And then this is part of his gimmick of recycling cards. So if he has size matters not his discard, which is his 1-pip, it gets put back into your command hand.
I think this is like top of S tier. This is one of the
Yeah,
best
this
cards
is
in
an
the
easy-
entire game.
This is an easy S tier. Yeah, I'd say this is above Anakin's
the
1-pip.
only downside of this card that Yoda can't attack is meaningless because you play it on turn 1. The chances that Yoda unit without charge, unit without relentless, unless you play his cards for it, he wouldn't have attacked on turn 1 anyway, almost at all, unless your opponent's like just walking into your deployment zone. And yeah, the order control is insane. The token generation is insane. If your opponent shoots at Yoda, he generates more dodges through no more aims, right, Anthony?
Yep, he gets more aims from getting shot at and gets dodges if he attacks with the Taro Mastery.
Yep. He can generate tokens as well on himself through taking actions, through force powers. Super good card. Perfect order control on turn 1 is just incredible. And you can play this card twice. And it also, obviously, it does have the cycle effect. It's the one of his cards that you're least likely to use the cycle effect on, right, Anthony?
Typically, some people have done like 3-2-3. So you play Yoda's 3-pip, to his 2-pip, back to his 3-pip if you don't want to play his 1-pip yet. But since there's only 5 rounds now, you're probably not recycling it as often. So
I mean, you're also, and when you're taking Yoda goes very well with so many units. I mean, if you take this on like commando units, like you're getting so many aims on those things. Like yeah. I mean, this is the quintessential card for Yoda. Has a lot of like really solid things going for him, but this is why you play Yoda.
there's no question. All right, on to his 2-pip. There is no try. Yoda gets an order in 1 trooper unit. When a unit is issued an order with this card, it gains 1 dodge and outmaneuver and relentless this round. At the end of the phase, if you have his 3-pip in the discard pile, returns to your hand. So Once you play the 3-pip, you play the 2-pip and get your pip back. This is a very good card. This is probably my favorite card for Yoda. It makes him really
Yeah.
flexible.
Importantly, the wording, because it's any unit issued in order with the card, it also works on Yoda. So this is a turn where Yoda, who has a Taru and can attack twice, gains Relentless. You can put 2 and 2 together. That means that he's almost certainly attacking twice with his native ranged attack, usually, or even with his melee attacks, and being able to move around.
And it gives a dodge token.
This is like his suppression bomb attack, because a range attack is suppressive. You can attack twice. Typically, you can also Jedi Mind Trick, which is also a big
and then
deal.
It also does that effect on one other unit, which is crazy.
So many great
I
targets.
think this is another S tier card. I think so. Like it's
well, if I would say top of A tier, because I'm gonna throw it back at you. You said Din's 1-pip adding Relentless on.
This is my exact point. Is this is way better than Din's 1-pip. It's literally giving Relentless to 2 units. Any other unit, any other trooper of your choice gains Relentless in your list.
It is hard to argue with the Relentless on any unit.
Good.
Yeah,
Twice as good.
Shut up. Blaise.
Also gives out a dodge and outmaneuver, and it returns a card to your hand.
Outmaneuver is meaningless.
Also, it also returns a card to your hand.
The dodge, well, Din's 1-pip also has a dodge, for the record. So it really is just adding Relentless to 1 extra unit.
2 units. 2 units.
Well,
Yoda's a slow-ass dude.
One of the best units in the game.
Yeah, I mean, this on a super
And
squad.
they can attack twice.
Yeah, this on a super squad or
This
a
on
commando. Bad Batch already has
Anakin.
steady.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter on Bad Batch at all.
This is probably materializing into you making 3 attacks you could not have made. And getting 2 dodge tokens and returning another card to your hand.
You can get really creative with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it being S tier. I think
it's below his own card. I think his 3-pip is better.
We would love to rate this card lower because it used to be even stronger, but I think
got nerfed.
It got nerfed, but it was already super good. It's still really good. Not getting a 4th free attack from guidance, although actually you were sacrificing one of Yoda's attacks to do that in the past. But anyways, it's so open-ended, the Relentless. Like there's just the
decision tree of what you can do with it is crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
Opens up range bands.
I liked playing it on Commander Ahsoka to make it 2 speed 3. Like basically it gives her charge or like her saber throw at such a super far range. You can give it to ARC troopers to like have crazy strong range attacks. You can give it to commandos to get that like range 4 threat range on their like impact weapons. Yeah, you could put it on super squads. Yeah, it's the use cases are massive. Yeah, I think this is. Yeah, these 2 cards are why you're taking Yoda for sure.
Yeah,
and this last card is probably why you're also taking Yoda. Size matters not. His 1-pip gives him an order. Yoda gets jump, charge, disengage. He treats his maximum speed as 3. During his next activation, he can make any of his actions or free actions up to 2 times. And then if you have his 2-pip in your discard pile, you return it to your hand.
It's funny, this is a really strong card. It is by far Yoda's worst card.
I would say by
tier.
far it is his worst card, as in it's the least flashy.
Yeah.
I would put it in A tier above We Do What We Do.
I agree, but it's so wild that his cards are so good that this is like, if there's a card that you're not playing, I mean, you are probably playing this every game, but if there's a card you didn't play, it's probably this one.
Because the scenario where this becomes useful is like an end game where you're trying to get people off objectives, or Yoda is trying to murk things. And sometimes you just like have won the game by that point, or Yoda is dead, I feel like.
Yoda's not able to murk things that fast because he's only rolling 4 red. And he is attacking twice, which is a big deal. But typically, if he doesn't kill it, he has to move to another unit, it doesn't kill it. You're just kind of at the same
Well, he can also just attack 1 target twice and roll 8 red, pierce 4.
Yes.
Which is like the best lightsaber attack in the game.
Potentially double force pushing or double Jedi mind tricking, whatever it is.
And in order to double force push, you have to take the recover action in the middle but which means that you're losing one of his attacks to do that. So it's sort of like there's, like we said with this 2-pip, lots of different options for how this card can be used. And it can do multiple things at once, especially with the force powers. This is his. Actually, Luminous is his least played card, but they're all within like single digits of each other.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's probably just list building errors that would cause any. Like anytime people bring Yoda, they bring all 3 of his cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's really no
He has the
reason not
best
to.
command card suite in the game, and the fact that you can play each of them twice potentially is like really, really strong. I think it's between him and Han Solo and Dooku that have like the best command hands in the game.
Yoda, good character. All right, we're gonna move on to a battle force. Get this out the way. The 212th battle forces. They're 1 pip. They're divulge 1 pip. They have to do. If it doesn't, so choose up to 2 core clone trooper units. Each chosen unit gets infiltrate. Then for each special forces you have in your army, choose a different vehicle unit. Each chosen unit gets scout 1 this game.
Such a strange card because it's basically just a rule that would probably have been written into the text of the battle force, but for whatever reason, it's a divulge effect on a 1-pip. It's obviously just better ambush by a lot. Can you bring it back up? There's so much to think about with this card.
So I played the list. Anthony and I played against over the weekend. I don't think took max effect on or didn't use this card to its fullest potential, but this card, it works on super squads. So I think giving super squads, like a shotgun unit on like a clone trooper infantry is pretty strong. Infiltrate's a very, very powerful keyword. The other issue, I think you're oftentimes taking, if you're building the list around like saber tanks, I think it's worth it to take like a ARF trooper or 2. Unfortunately, that's like your only option. The ARF troopers aren't very good right now, but giving a saber tank scout 1 can be pretty huge. That speed 1 move on that massive base is worth a lot of just getting it where it needs to be to make like the attacks it wants to make.
Yeah, and it probably it can often materialize into like an aim because those bases don't often need more than 1 move, more than speed 1 to get where they need to go. So hard to evaluate though. I would put this like all the way up, and I just got to look at the rubric here, but I think this would fit our conditions for an A tier card.
It's kind of the reason why
it's the
you're playing
reason
the
you
battle
play this battle force.
Yeah.
The only thing against it is that it requires you to take ARF troopers to get the benefit, which is like a list building consideration. Like obviously you wouldn't play as battle force if you weren't playing ARFs. But I still think it's an A tier card. I mean, 2 infiltrate to 2 units, scout to probably like
super
2 or
high
3
impact units. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. I think this is an A tier card. I think this card is why you take the.
Yep.
I mean,
and then you
it's
still
that
just
and the
play
ability
it
to
as
take,
an ambush upgrade.
Yeah, when you actually need it. This is the reason you take. It's this and the ability to play like multiple heavy vehicles, like 3 heavy vehicles. Those are 2 reasons you take this battle force.
I agree. This is their 2-pip recon division. This art is Waxer's art, by the way. So what you know.
Stole it from Waxer.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what goes on with the battle force cards. They just take the art from somewhere else.
So this is their 2-pip for their battle force. 2 vehicles or 2 special forces. This round, each trooper unit gains observe 1 as an action. Additionally, during the remove token step at the end phase, if an enemy unit with 1 or more observation tokens has LOS to 1 or more allied units, they don't remove any observation tokens.
This is I mean, if you're playing the Cody 212th list, I think this is a solid card. It sets up his 1-pip to be more impactful. I don't think that It also means like ARF troopers all of a sudden taking like the observe action is feasible. I think as it stands in a normal situation, you're never taking an observe action with the ARF troopers, but all of a sudden
I would say never. Observe is, if you're going to shoot that target again, observe is straight up better than an aim action, even on clones. And
but now
because you reroll the dice separately, so you can use it like twice on a good die that blanks. It also doesn't require you to be at range 2 of the friendly. It just requires the friendly. Like you can cross map combine, which is situationally different than like splitting off. But I think observes are generally, like an observe 2 is generally better than an aim action.
yeah, when it becomes observe 2, then all
when
of
it
a
becomes
sudden
well, this makes it observe 3.
they're observe 2
Yeah.
at baseline. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this makes them observe 3. So not only is it you're actually getting more
Wait,
rerolls.
I thought ARFs are just observe 1.
I thought they were observe 1.
I think their ARFs are observe 1.
Let's look it up.
Because I think the observe action on ARFs are observe 2
ARFs
would
have
be
observe 2 as an action.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Those I have never played ARF troopers.
Yeah. So I think it's a good card. You play this early in the game when your ARFs are at full power. You can use cohesion to extend the range of observe if you really wanted it to trigger. And then you stack up a bunch of observes, and then you play Cody's 1 pip, usually. As we said, his 3 pip. Even with this card, his 3 pip would still be pretty hard to get a lot of use out of. It's the most likely scenario to get use out of it, but you probably play his 1 pip after this card, and then you get, if you spread your observes out, you probably get suppressive and impact on almost your entire army, as well as the rerolls.
Are we thinking somewhere in B or somewhere like that, or a little somewhere around there?
All that being said, I would put it in C tier. It still requires, like, it's like Jacob said, you kind of need to take ARF troopers for this to be efficient. Like clones, observing 1 and shooting isn't great, you know? Like clone infantry, I should say. I would put it higher in the middle, like somewhere around the Battle Force 3 pip. Because it's a good card. Yeah. It's mainly exists to just set up Cody's 1 pip or 3 pip.
I think like 2/12 is obviously leaning into like Cody as your commander. I think this just makes Cody better. I think it just gives him more options on like the 1 pip turn, or makes the 3 pip more viable if that's like what you're trying to do. I think it's a solid card. I don't think you're not necessarily playing it every game if you don't have time to set it up.
All right, here's the last one of the Battle Force. Flexible strategy gives orders. There's a 3 pip, gives 3 units orders. When a trooper unit is issued an order of this card, it may remove up to 1 suppression or make its people unmove. When a vehicle unit is issued an order of this card, it may gain 1 aim or dodge.
This is just like every token generation potential on one card, hence the name.
Solid card.
Yeah. And it doesn't require any commander. So you can play it on Cody. You can play it on, if Cody dies, you can play it on a clone that got promoted. I would put it like top of C tier through it being a generic, being that you just like, if it's in your hand, you know you're going to get to play it during that game.
Well, I think by that standard, I think it's a B tier. Like you're playing it almost every game. It's just so flexible.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Yep, flexible strategy. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It just generates a bunch of tokens on whatever units you need, no matter who you give it to, or the free moves, which we did highly rate in when we were talking about.
We ranked them both. Both of the
B-tier,
Rebel versions we ranked in B tier. I think this is
poor aggressive negotiations.
I would put it below the Anakin 2 pip, though. I think.
Yeah. The speed ones are good for getting on objectives. The list doesn't have access to anything with agile, so it's not like you're getting any extra value out of the moves. But
2/12 Battle Force,
shuffling.
Solid command cards. I think the only real weakness to that Battle Force is like you are actively forcing yourself to take like some not very good units. And the Battle Force is supposed to make them viable.
Yeah. Well, which is what Battle Forces usually are designed to do.
That's solid.
All right. We're going to power through some of these. The art from this is when the Ahsoka was tease. So this is the art that I had available. So this is Ahsoka Tano's 1 pip. You are beaten gives an order to 1 unit. Ahsoka Tano gains charge this round. If she defeats 1 or more enemy units this round, she may make up to 2 attack actions and may make a free move action during her activation this round. When Ahsoka Tano attacks an enemy unit with the melee attack this round, after that attack is resolved, the defending unit may make a free move action and can withdraw from that action.
This is when it comes to like these 2 attack cards, it's one of the worst ones. If you set it up correctly, it like where she starts off in melee with a unit that is like pretty weak or like within like a charge range of like a 3 or 4 model like core unit, I think this card is really solid. Like you kind of go out of your way to just like wipe that squad and then try and charge and get a second attack off. The problem really is like if you don't kill what you're in melee with, they get to withdraw. If you take force push on her, I guess that kind of like I've experimented with, it kind of eliminates the drawback of this card, but that's an expensive way to remove that drawback.
Yep. It's any unit, so it's a significant upgrade over, not significant, it is an upgrade over ambush, but yeah, it actually makes her attacks, like, honestly worse than they would have been. Like, the withdrawing means that she can't really attack anything safely unless you have force push on her, because either she kills it and exposes herself, or it withdraws from her.
Yeah. The potential is the 2 attacks and an extra move on a speed 3 unit, which is it's certainly something, but the drawback is significant.
And you're putting the order typically on a power piece like Yoda, Anakin, Obi-Wan,
whoever you're taking her with.
Yeah. You play this if Ahsoka wants to charge something. Ahsoka is kind of like, oftentimes I think would want to put her in a scenario where she can like pick on a unit that's weaker than her, that if that unit gets like 1 shot at her, it's not going to like, outright kill her. So you play this card, put the order on someone else, she recovers, charges into something. If you get lucky and kill it, you get to go and do it again. Otherwise it kind of just, it's better ambush.
Or
with
you
all
kill,
that being said,
it's probably around D, I think, for me.
I think it's a C
I
tier
put it
card.
like C tier because it does just make her attacks worse than they were otherwise.
I guess, yeah. I guess if we're talking about Fairyland situations. Or are we putting this in C then?
And she is not very good at killing units reliably with her dice pool.
That's true.
Unless they're super beat
I
up.
think it's top of C or maybe below the Rex 3-pip. I think you are taking it every time you're taking Ahsoka. And it's still a 2 attack. Like if you set it up, I mean, there's ways to set it up. If you have Ahsoka on the opponent's weak side where they're having some of their chaff, I think this card can be really solid. But
she is like your secondary general comparative to like Obi-Wan, whatever it is. Like it is your secondary, so I think you probably bring this all the time.
Yeah, it's not a bad card, but it's not a great card either.
Onto the hair 3-pip. I go where I'm needed. 3 units get an order. Ahsoka Tano may make a speed 3 move. This round, Ahsoka gets Guardian 3 and disengage. Her courage is increased by 1, which treats her maximum speed as 1, and her maximum speed cannot be increased.
This is a pretty solid card. It has a lot of effects there. Guardian 3 is kind of, I don't know if you really want to be guarding a whole lot of attacks on her, given it's not like she has Cerezu like Obi-Wan.
She has her mastery that is like old deflect.
Yeah, it's like with a 5 wound unit, 1 bad roll and she's donezo. So I mean, it has some use cases. I would say you have to be very careful with that. The free speed 3 move at the beginning of the activation is very significant, even though it ultimately reduces her speed by 1. Disengage is pretty huge, so like you can use that speed 3 even while you're engaged in like a melee with one other unit, and just go into a melee with a unit that you prefer to be in melee with. That's it's a straight up upgrade over Assault, and that you can give the orders to any 3 units. It's a solid card.
it actually gives her a slightly longer engagement range than she would have normally, because she can speed 3 move on the play of this card, then move speed 1 and then swing, which is a little bit further than she would have been able to get otherwise. Yeah, it's a good card.
I think it's a B tier.
B, C?
No, I think it's
Yeah.
a B tier. I think you're probably expecting to play this card most of the time, or
Yeah. And
it's
it has such a diverse amount of effects. You're probably not looking to trigger all of them. I put it near the bottom. I put it
Yeah.
at the bottom.
yeah. I'd probably put it at the bottom.
All right, and then
Yeah,
we go.
she had mastery on deflect sounds really, or on guardian sounds pretty good, but
kind of
it's
risky.
risky.
It's a little risky.
Yeah.
She has a little flex, so instead of like rolling surges,
If you
and
had
it's
some
one surge
medics
back,
around, I guess it feels better. Just like you need insurance for those bad rolls because
but she is only like 110 point unit.
it's also true. Also true.
So-
Doesn't feel as bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, here's our 2-pip that is disguised as a 4-pip. Went out of order here, but revenge is not the Jedi way. 2 units get an order from this 4-pip. It's just treated as 2-pip, but in this terms of command building, Ahsoka gets 3 dodges, and additionally, Ahsoka Tano gets Jarkai and loses her Sheen Mastery.
This is, I think, her best card, mainly through it being a 4-pip that gives out 2 orders. It is a big upgrade over standing orders, which doesn't sound that great, but actually being able to usually go second on turn 1 and get 2 orders out.
With the benefit of also,
Yeah.
3 dodges if you want to play aggressively with Ahsoka.
Or like if you're on turn 1, you gave those orders to other focus pieces and she gets pulled and has to go earlier.
Yeah.
It means she's very unlikely to be a target as well with that many dodges.
Between 3 dodges and Shien Mastery.
Deflect. Yeah, it means she can safely.
She does lose. Well, she does lose Shien
Yeah.
Mastery, but
But she still has
She gets-
deflect.
But gets Jarkai.
and then as just a card in your hand, Jarkai Mastery, even though like you'd undoubtedly be going second if you're like locked in a melee, it increases the survivability of her in melee, and then also increases the reliability of her on offense, which is I don't think that's why you're using that card, but like in the event that you end up not playing this card on round 1, just having that in your back pocket is not nothing.
It's a 2-pip that is disguised as a 4-pip in terms of building. And it looks like for most of our tierings, the 2-pips haven't been too great. So this isn't a
I would
bad
put this
card.
one pretty high. I put this in like A tier. Standing orders, if it was in any faction, would probably be like an A tier card.
I would put it at the bottom of A, I think.
It's not very flashy at all, but it's basically like if you could rank standing orders, I would probably put it as like an A tier card for how much it gets played and how helpful going after your opponent on turn 1 is, and this is just a better version of that.
All right, we're going to power through these and get one character out the way for last. All right. Flow of the Force for the Jedi Knight or General. It's their 1-pip. When the unit is issued an order of this card, it may make a recover action, then it gets an aim, a dodge, and a standby on either the Knight or General.
Yeah, it's hello there, Light. It's a good card. Gets token generation, 1-pip. It's not flashy. It's fine. I think this is a low B tier card. You're probably playing it every game that you're playing the Jedi Knight or General. Unfortunate part is those units are not very good. But I think the card itself, like the consistent, token generation on a 1-pip is fine, I think.
Yeah, I think the standby is hard to get off. We'll probably talk about this again when we talk about Obi-Wan, but it's threatening. It definitely, like, if you get into melee with something that can't strip it, it's good.
Yeah, I think the General and I are good into chaff units that aren't able to get the standby off of Demoralize or anything like that. So I find it's pretty useful. The attack itself, it's pretty nice.
And I like with the recover, one thing to note is that the Jedi Knight in general can recover exhausted cards with
The
that training.
Yeah.
So like you could like recover clairvoyance with this, which is pretty big, or burst of speed with this, which feels pretty solid. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, B tier feels right.
And then here's their 3-pip Affirmative General. It issues orders to 3 commander units, either 3 operatives or 3 clone trooper units. When issuing orders with this card, you may choose to not issue up to 3 orders. Then for each order not issuing this way, choose a different allied clone trooper unit without a face-up order. Each chosen unit may make a speed 1 and may remove up to 1 suppression token.
And the obvious, not obvious, but like the hidden thing, or what a lot of people probably are already aware of, but if you're not, is that just because you choose not to issue orders with this card doesn't mean that you can't trigger direct or coordinate or HQ uplink to then give that unit a face up after it does its move anyways. This is a really good card, I think. It is super flexible with who it can give orders to. You have commanders, operatives, and clones. And it can hand out a bunch of speed 1 moves, also strips suppression, and the negative effect isn't even permanent.
Yeah, I mean, it is still a
give 'em an
negative
order
effect if you're
anyways.
not. Yeah, but you do need a way around it.
It's not
At
too
baseline,
hard,
if you
really.
don't have direct or coordinate in your list, you are giving up orders at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
It's not as good as flexible response.
Yeah, you don't have to not issue 3 orders. You could just issue 2 and
Right.
get a move on 1 unit that you want.
Yeah, the one that you really want it. It's
Yeah,
it's definitely
like
more positive. The
Bad Batch
flexibility
is the obvious target usually.
Yeah.
It's I play this card sometimes if I don't want to play Luminous first or after Luminous. It's just a good stall card.
Yeah, I'd put it maybe bottom of B tier. I put it probably above.
I put it above the Ahsoka 3-pip. Actually, yeah, I agree. I might put it above Cody's 1-pip, but I'm not super attached to one way or
just
another.
consistent value.
I think it's better than Cody's 1-pip for sure. All right, we're almost done, guys. We should get through the generics before my favorite character. Synchronized Offensive. This is the generic Galactic Republic card. You've been ordered to 1 vehicle unit. 1 allied vehicle unit is issued an order with this card. Choose an allied clone trooper within 2 of that vehicle. The nominated commander issues the chosen unit an order.
It's ambush, but it hands out 2 orders if you brought a vehicle.
Yep.
Basically. And it's restricted that second order goes to a clone. I mean, I would say it's like D tier, right?
Yeah,
like
if it's a vehicle
you brought
list.
a vehicle, you don't have another hero.
Yep.
Hands
D
out
tier
2
card.
orders.
Easy. Yeah.
Put it at the top of D tier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's fair. Air support, the cool art now. It's pretty cool.
It's good artwork.
1 commander, so 2 pips generic to pip for the GAR. It's either a commander or a heavy unit. Once this round, at the end of an allied commander's activation or allied field commander unit activation, they may make an attack with the weapon below, which is 4 and infinite. It is a beam weapon, beam 2 with 2 black and a red.
Yeah, I mean, this is a solid card for a generic. I think there's a lot of commanders, and I mean, you could use it on any commander, field commander, but it's especially good, I think, there's quite a few that have surge to crit, like Anakin and Cody. You have units like Rex that have both surge to crit and sharpshooter. I think this is a solid card. My guess is it's probably the most played of the generic 2 pips in Republic.
I think the attack of clones
It
is actually the second most played card, period.
Okay.
Wow.
Dang.
Yep.
It definitely gets played more than it should. I think people think it's better than it is. But at the end of the day, it's a 9 dice consistent attack at range 4 to infinity. I think
it's just if your opponent has armor or any sort of distributed defense, it tends to blink off unless. I mean, Rex or Cody are the typical guys. Anakin can also fire it with surge to crit, but it's funny that Obi-Wan can't.
Yeah, Obi-Wan is not a good choice. This is not good in an Obi-Wan list.
I don't know. I would put it probably
somewhere in C, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you're not necessarily playing this every game. I think this is often like your 6th card.
I'd put it below the Rex 1-pip, I think.
Yeah, I think so
I
too.
can see the argument for why it might be better because it is more consistent. It's going off more consistently, but it's just not as impactful. Like it's
Yeah.
just peppering your opponent with a little bit
And
of.
it does only order 1 unit as well,
Yeah.
which is
With the
not
2-pip, no
insignificant.
other. Yeah.
Yep, I think that's
All right.
fine.
Here's the last card of the generics, Attack of the Clones. I always like this art. It's their 3-pip gives out 3 orders to 3 clone trooper units. When unit is issued an order of this card, it may gain 1 surge or remove 1 suppression.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it is restrictive in that it only issues order to clone trooper units, but 3 surge tokens, or sometimes removing a suppression, it's much more often you're just doing 3 surge tokens, is definitely a straight up upgrade over Assault. I think it's either top of D or
I'd put
low
it
C.
just below like combined arms.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, actually. It's I mean, it's decent card. You're taking this card if you're playing, if you have like 1 character, you know.
Typically,
I think
you're probably not. Or you want, like, if you think in the end game
Yeah, I
that
mean,
your character's
if
going to
you don't
die.
have Yoda, it's a good turn 1 opener.
Yeah, it's not
3
bad.
more surges is solid.
All right, on to my favorite character, Obi-Wan. General Kenobi, his 3-pip. Obi-Wan gets an order and 2 other units. When a unit is issued an order of this card, that unit gains 1 surge token for each other allied unit within 1 of it.
It's a lot of surge tokens. It's kind of more than you could ever need.
Yeah.
You're never using them.
You're never going to use all of them.
At least when you
with
play
clone sharing, if you play round 1, yeah.
If you play round 1, as many do, you're wasting 90% of those surge tokens.
Yeah.
It is also one of those cards where it does have value in the later game, like on a round 5, where, you know, you've run out of like good cards to play, and you're like, this has intrinsic value of just giving surge tokens to my clone troopers and to Obi-Wan, who really would like surge tokens in melee. It's a solid card. I think it's probably
C tier. I would say it's worse than Anakin's 3-pip.
I would say it's better than Anakin's 3-pip.
It gives
I guess in the end game, it's probably better.
It gives more value to the clones that get the surges, that can use the surges. I would say, and if you're playing round 2 or 3 here, I wouldn't say it's better on Obi-Wan.
I will say in this Rex Bad Batch Obi-Wan list, this is the card I leave. This is the 3-pip I leave.
Yeah. I mean, it is a big upgrade over Assault for the token generation, but it's just not often that you're late in the game. You're like, yeah, I have time to just play a 3-pip right now and generate a bunch of tokens. Yep. And then if you're playing it turn 1, it's like, okay, like if your opponent shot you and you had to spend more than 2 surge tokens, maybe it was useful.
It feels like a weak turn 1 opener, but like has more flexibility than most of these other 3-pips do in the end game.
It's a little stronger turn 2 for me, at least.
Yeah.
Yep. I would say it's like significantly better than Anakin's card. Yeah. And I would rather take Rex's, which is at the top of the tier, which gives out more orders.
Republic just has so many. I feel like they have some really solid 3-pips.
They have a bunch of 3-pips that just generate tokens on clones, which is always good.
All right, on to Knowledge of Defense. I would also say the art downgrade from the previous version, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. His movement to block is implied to be that he like rotated his arm like 90 degrees to get to that position. Like seems like it's just weird. I was looking at this art earlier today. He just like I don't know. And he's not protecting anyone. He's just doing it.
I know, yeah. Unlike the old
art, it just feels like they just randomized it almost entirely when they like came into the new edition.
Just wait till we get his 1-pip. It's even worse. Yeah. All right, so this is his 2-pip Knowledge and Defense. It's 2 trooper units can get issued an order. Obi-Wan gains 1 dodge token for each other allied trooper within 1. This round,
I just want to say, I do want to correct myself. The reason he rotated his arm like that is because he's deflecting 3 blaster bolts. My apologies to the artist. I didn't notice that. He had to do that to hit those.
No worries, Joshua. We'll definitely thank you.
I don't want to slander Josh.
This round, Obi-Wan can use Guardian during enemy melee attacks. This card is really good. Really good when someone charges into you and wants to kill someone.
To me, this is by a pretty decent margin. This is his best card.
Yeah, it defines, like, it's got to be high A tier.
Yeah, it's a high A tier card, I think. I wouldn't go as far to say
why you play Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I think you're always using this is like a round 2, round 3 when you're still pretty close to your army. It does a few things. First, it generates a whole bunch of dodges that you're likely not going to need all of them, but they both allow you to re-roll any Cerezu roll that does not go your way in a Guardian roll. It allows you to basically countercharge them in a way where their charging units are not good, especially like they're like a Jedi, like an Anakin charging in to like your clone troopers. All of a sudden, they're not going to feel so good doing 2 wounds to like your clone trooper, because you can Guardian those melee attacks and deflect
back,
and deflect melee attacks back as well. I think that's huge. It's like the only card in the game that allows you to be able to Guardian melee attacks, and then it also like protects Obi-Wan from getting shot himself. Like when he's got like anywhere from like 5 to 8 dodges on him, it's like they're not going to even bother attacking him.
Pretty good.
Lets you set up like a, you could charge into melee with Obi-Wan basically at any point, and you're like, okay, I've killed a unit, or I'm stuck in melee with a unit. Attack me, I dare you. I have 8 dodges. I do not care.
It is the defining part of Obi-Wan's kit that lets him survive enough, or it lets you survive enough for him to be able to dive into the next round, or as units dive.
Yeah.
And
well, it keeps like everybody around him usually fairly healthy. Does struggle with like there are ways to get around it, like using crits, high velocity. Although high velocity doesn't stop him from spending the dodges to reroll, right?
Correct.
He's not the defending unit.
He just doesn't
if you shoot him.
He just doesn't get surge to block and deflect, on those, but he could still spend the dodge to reroll. You could take protector on him. I know people don't really do that anymore on Guardian units, but theoretically you could take protector to be able to Guardian.
But
at least once
in the current
crits.
rolls. It's
not really
people
worth
will
it.
roll crits, but they will also have hits for him to Guardian. It's a good card. It's really good. I think that's a solid rating for it. The last one is Hello There.
And it sets up this card.
Yeah.
I will not lie, this is probably the worst downgrade of any card art from the new version. I'm sorry, Thomas.
Sorry, Thomas. Has nothing to do with you. This should
you did a great job.
You got bad direction from whoever told you. Because also they changed the Obi-Wan model, so the Obi-Wan model doesn't even look like this anymore.
It's the Revenge of the Sith model instead of the Clone Wars model.
Yeah. It's a good artwork, but
it's just But besides that, Hello There hits just 1 pip, gives an order to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gets nimble this round. At the start of the activation, Obi-Wan gains 1 aim, a dodge, a standby, or surge for each enemy unit within 2 of him. So this is when he's in the middle of the army, gets tons of tokens, and just does his thing.
It's a solid 1 pip. I mean, you're always playing this. The token generation is going to vary pretty wildly. Sometimes you're gonna get like 8 tokens. Like if you're charging in and like in melee, buried in melee with your enemy's army, you're probably gonna get more. Like the range 2, the range 2 token generation is it's pretty large when you're like diving their objective. I think you're often taking like 1 of each token. Sometimes, you'll take more. Nimble is also nice, especially when you consider, you could be spending dodges to reroll Cerezu rolls. Just lets you always be able to reroll Cerezu rolls in Guardian attacks.
I find myself like getting a standby attack off pretty frequently, I'd say. I think most times I've been playing him. I've played pretty recently in both tournaments and locals. I've been getting the standby attack off pretty much all the time.
I think if you're embedded in melee, it is always worth it to take the standby. Because what's just going to happen is either they're going to have to Completely sacrifice their activation to not allow the standby to go off, or they're gonna not be able to aim or not be able to dodge before taking the attack. It forces your opponent to make like difficult decisions. Obviously, I think if like a Dooku, you're in melee with like Dooku or something, and he already has force push, or you have something an enemy
Or
with like
demoralize
demoralize.
is already in range.
I think it changes the math a little bit, but for like most scenarios where you're buried in melee, it's worth it to take the standby.
Yeah, and you wanna inconvenience your opponent to like have to do that thing.
Yeah.
Is significant. I would say really it's only enemy force users like Dooku that have force push that are like dueling you, which Obi-Wan usually is fine with. That you would probably just take a dodge over the standby, but otherwise, and yeah, it's a good card. It just struggles with Obi-Wan's low dice ceiling. Like, you're probably usually taking tenacity on him because you can control him being wounded, but it's actually kind of hard to get those white dice to hit.
You
You're gonna
often are going to
yeah.
want at least one aim, if you can.
Probably want
more
two.
than
if
one.
If you need to get like 5 hits or more on this, you probably want 2 aims.
I think you got to bear in mind, like you have nimble, so it's like if you're getting attacked multiple times in a round, you're going to have more than the one dodge you take. I think this is either low A or high B.
I put it high B above Chewbacca's card, but just it's not really a true double attack card. You know, it's the conditions on getting that second attack off are not quite as bad as Ahsoka's 1 pip. Not quite. They are not nearly as bad as Ahsoka's 1 pip, but it's not nearly as liberal as like Anakin or Yoda, who can just whoever they want can attack twice. Obi-Wan basically is like, if your opponent doesn't have a counter, he can attack twice.
I'd say it's a lot easier to get just the tokens and the value out of it because you're probably already embedded in melee of some sort, but it's not as easy to get the attack off like you're saying. But it's like, I think it's tangible, like asterisk there of getting a double attack potentially.
Is it that much better than the Jedi 1 pip though?
I think so.
How much better is it though? Like,
I mean,
is it a whole
much higher.
entire...
Well, I think it's a much higher ceiling of tokens, and I think nimble also does matter, especially in the context of Obi-Wan.
Because
I guess the free recover and nimble kind of like cancel each other out, but I think the ceiling of this card is much higher.
The lightsaber for the generic, if you're taking the double side, is 1 red, 3 black, 3 white, 2 black.
But you don't have to take that lightsaber. There's also
the other
one with
lightsabers.
8 dice.
It's true, but they don't give you charge off of that.
And it's also flexibility of you could just take, like, for instance, like if you know you're going first and you know Obi-Wan's dying, like he's at 1 wound, you just don't take the standby, you don't take the dodges. You're like, I know I'm dead here. I'm gonna just take like 3 aims and a surge, and just like go to town. And, like, there is a little more some flexibility
I think
to it
the
too.
flexibility, and it's super unlikely that you're not getting at least like 3 tokens off of this.
That's like the least. I think like that's the least I've ever gotten off of this card is like 3 or 4 tokens. Like range 2 is a lot.
Yep. All right, and that's
Solid
our tier list. Looks like, I think, what are people's thoughts so far from all of
It's interesting. Obi-Wan, the Republic has some really solid command cards, like very.
I think when you look at this, you do notice that it's like it's Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin that are near the top. Which I don't know if you need them in your list, but certainly if you want cards that have like swing the game or change the game state, then those are the characters that you kind of need to play. Like everyone else kind of falls into like this support character scheme. I guess Bad Batch, but Bad Batch their card is incidental really to how you play the unit.
There's 3 focus piece commanders and 3 support commanders really at the end of the day, I think. Or more than 3, but
there is a case for Ahsoka though. Seems like Ahsoka has a case for herself being her own commander.
Yeah, her cards are good. She's cheap.
But just
Her
haven't
cards
seen
are
like
are
effect.
good for her price, I should say.
Just
Yeah.
haven't
And I-
seen like the total effect of it. So I don't know. I think if you're not playing one of them, Yoda, Anakin, or Obi-Wan, you're putting yourself kind of at disadvantage. But I think they're good for a
Yeah.
reason. Like they
I
have good
think there's an
cards.
argument if you're not playing them to look for Ahsoka
Battle Force or
just to get upgrades over her basic cards. But yeah, Republic has a plethora, probably almost too many 3-pips that generate tokens. Like they kind of
we got
they need to
one.
enter a new design phase, I think, for these 3-pips.
Yeah, I agree.
And they kind of did it with Ahsoka's 3-pip, but in the end, it's still like just generates tokens and gives. I don't know. They've all their 3-pips are just like I support clones by giving them slightly better defense. So you always have good options to pick, but then if you want to look for anything flashy, which is where we're generally biased to putting the flashy cards in the higher tiers, you got to play those set piece commanders.
But they affect the game state. I mean, that's the thing.
And then one thing that I do want to note that is interesting is that like we gave Padme like a horrible ranking for her cards, but she as a unit is actually quite good. Just kind of an interesting thing. You don't see that a lot, and it really happened because Padme essentially has legacy cards from Old Legion that were designed around a different version of the game, and they were not updated at all when her card was reworked and her price was like significantly changed. That's something that if I was speaking to AMG, I'd be like, go and take a second look at all those characters that like, you just reprinted their cards with the same text from the old rules. Across the board, those cards tend to not do so well in a faster paced game.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't
But
think Republic is struggling on the command card front. The main thing that hurts them is just not enough characters.
Yeah, not enough characters, but that'll soon be remedied, and hopefully some of the bad cards like
Yeah.
the Wookiees and Padme get reworked.
Yeah, they are getting 4 new Jedi in a couple months.
Happy about that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what design space they enter.
All right, should we end it there?
Yeah, let's land this ship.
All right. Good night, sweet Blaise.
Good night.
He's here. Oh, he's here. Hey.
All right. Logging off. We're the maple syrup Mandos. Stay sticky.